every fucking time.
It's always different.
But we're back. We're back.
We're back. Yeah,
we're guesting.
Yes,
And
we're
we have a
guesting
hell of a guest. We've been having some pretty
Yeah.
having some pretty lighthearted chats lately. People that are love their music and just in bands, but we're bringing you something hard hitting. We're known to bring the hard hitting shit.
Yeah.
And we've got an absolute fucking treat for you tonight. This man has a hell of a story and something that I personally draw a lot of inspiration from, and I want to talk to you in a second as well. When I finish my introduction about how I kind of heard from you from a couple of different places, but please a massive welcome to Ben Stamatovich. Yes,
you nailed it.
Fuck yeah!
Thanks for coming on, man. I actually
appreciate it.
I actually had listened to your episode you did with Callum from Youngbloods.
Oh, okay.
And literally like 6 minutes in, I said to him, I'm like, God damn, man. Like it's just I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to say about everything, man. And hopefully people can get some inspiration.
Get something out of it. Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Before the Callum episode, which is interesting, is that we had someone on the podcast by the name of Blaze Williams, and that's who actually told me about you. So so we finished the episode, and she had a great time, and obviously has a very fucking crazy story herself.
Absolutely.
And she, as soon as we finished, she was like, "I got someone you got to get on the pod." So that's where the Facebook ad that I randomly threw you fucking 2 years ago comes from. It was because she was like, "You got to hit this guy up," and obviously it's taken us this long to make it happen, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, that's it.
But then I added you, and so the funny thing is I'd already kind of made contact with Callum because again the pod that he does is amazing.
Yeah,
and I love
he's
the
a
work.
good fella too.
Yeah, so I'd sort of had him on. So I added you. And then I had him on Facebook through talking about pods and doing an episode one day. And then your episode with him pops up and I was like, it was just weird, the worlds colliding.
Yeah.
And
It's meant to be.
Dude, what a fucking incredible podcast that is.
That was and that was my first. I was bulk nervous, as I am today. I'm nervous with all this sort of stuff. But it makes it easy when you got good fellas sitting opposite you, and Callum's one of them, and you two guys are one of them too. So it makes it easy to express what's going on. And
it was so good how we had Callum on this podcast as well, because he's like, I want to go on a pod where I can. Because obviously, the thing with his pod, there's not a lot of laughter and banter on that podcast. You know what I mean? We try and bridge the gap a little bit and have it cover all bases.
Yep.
But he really has kind of built a brand around this is going to be a hard hitting conversation. So when we kind of connected, he's like, I want to come and have some fucking laugh and have some banter. So
unleash a bit.
Yeah, it was great to have him on. I mean, we ended up having a very serious conversation and talking about everything Youngblood. But it's just, I think the thing is it's just so important that these people exist. We've got a podcast with a group. We shout these guys out all the time, but I will continue to do it. But we got a pod on Wednesday night with a group called the Next Step Australia. Have you heard of them at all?
I haven't, no.
So they run an Instagram page, and basically one of the guys behind the page is a psychologist.
Okay.
And it's basically like you can message the page and you'll get psychological help.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to go and
go
to
genuine.
the doctors. Yeah.
Okay.
So like obviously most of their job is then referring them on to get proper, but it's like, how easy when someone's having a dark time to go, I'm going to message this page and get help that's, what do you call it? Like professional. In that moment when you need it.
Yeah.
Because it's not
always... you're not talking to just it's just someone behind the screen. Like, you're talking to someone professional, which means a lot when myself, I've, tried this Lifeline and, a few years ago and whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, we'll get back to you or whatever. It's 2 weeks and you go to the doctors and try and seek some help or whatever. And, you got to look up a psychologist and, it's a 3 or 4 month wait to get in there. It's like, no, it's 3 or 4 months can be too late for a lot of people. Like,
well, even the night, like with these guys, those moments of darkness, the 50-50s of like, attempts and stuff that we'll even get into with you, but that's 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not
3 weeks later.
That's not how I'm going to go. Yeah. So it's like, I think what's amazing about what they're doing is like trying to find a way to bridge that gap between like, how do you get the help in that fucking moment of crisis as opposed to 4 months later?
Absolutely.
So we've got them coming on again for a second time on Wednesday
I'll
night.
look them up straight away after this.
So good. And again, you always love trying to give back to people doing that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Check
absolutely.
them out, man, because they've just made themselves an actual business. So they were just a page. But now they've gone and registered themselves and they're trying to actually, build their brand. And so I thought you would like them.
Absolutely. I will. I'll look them up for sure. That's it's a touching page.
The point of that is that so they're a bunch of blokes and then you got 2 blokes here and we're having this conversation. We've got you doing your amazing work with the Drone Way. We've got Callum. I think what's so important is that, when we've got this stigma, which I hate the word, but we're really seeing a movement that's starting to evolve where there are a lot of blokes in different age groups and whatever that are starting to make a massive shift in the ability to have this conversation.
100%. And, you know, if one thing social media has done is brought that out, hasn't it? I feel like, I mean, it's taken a few people to get out and not feel like, and as long as you feel like you can come out and not get bagged, I mean, you're going to get, like we were talking about before, there's going to be haters no matter what you say. But you put that aside, and sometimes it's just good just to express. You know, you get the relief just out of expressing yourself sometimes and knowing that someone's listening and helping someone else to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah,
that's the you know, the goal out of it all is just to keep passing it on, like pass the part, like, you know, just keep, like, everyone's going to open a present, hopefully.
Well, and we say that, I mean, with this pod as well, like, it's been we didn't even know that how helpful it was going to be for our own mental health to have these kinds of conversations. Like I was always about how, you know, I wanted to have these conversations because they were important, but I didn't also realize it was going to positively help me, let alone, you know, then we get the messages from people being like, fuck, that episode was amazing, it really helped me. So
win-win.
I want to take you back, obviously, for people who haven't, I guess, heard your story, and I think that it's so important to kind of get a little bit more depth to the person, and so that we can really hit home about where you are today and the great work that you're doing. So, you know, in the start of the Callum episode, you talk about two really big things in the beginning of your life. You talk about obviously a pretty big bit of information that gets laid on you about your actual family, and then that sort of then starts to stem into your time in dealing with homelessness. If you want to kind of talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. So I knew I knew my stepfather wasn't my real stepfather growing up from the age of 2 to, well, I just knew he wasn't, because I just called him by his first name. It wasn't even, you know, hidden or anything. It was open. And my mum was my mum. So I thought that all the way through. And it's only really, I mean, since in the last couple of, you know what, since social media, since I've been on the drone way, that I've really thought about the past a bit more. Because I always used to think, you know, from the age of 10, I started doing sneaky shit. Stealing push bikes from school, you know, blah, you know, just sneaky. Give me 50 cents to go get the Sunday Mail. I'd scoop it off someone's front lawn and go buy Snickers and shit. Like, you know, but shit, you know, I mean, I don't know if all 10-year-olds do that, but with what happened later on in life, I think, oh, that's probably not happening. But there's some things that the stepfather was doing to me that wasn't right as well, and I've sort of put them together and thought, yeah, maybe that's the thing. But anyway, so when I was 13 years old, the police come around I stole some bikes again, and the police come around and wanted to see me down the police station, and my mum come in, I was in the shower, and said, did you steal the bikes? I said, no, I just denial. Yeah. And she knew I did, and you know, it was pretty obvious I did. And so I got out of the shower, she come down, sit down, I've got something to tell you. I was like, okay, well, what's going to go on here? And she just flat out said, I'm not your real mum. And
far out, okay.
And I instantly just fucking broke down. I looked similar. And that's one thing I remember, because it's all a bit blurry about what my reaction was to it. But one thing I do remember saying was, we look the same. She goes, I'm not your real mum. And then she explained how I wasn't the real mum. Like, my mum left me with my real dad, who then met her. Then my real dad took off, blah, blah, blah. And to this day, I still don't know the actual truth of how my surname, and you know, like, I don't know how I got Stamatovich when my real dad's name's Holcroft and my stepfather's name's Bartol, and so I don't really know all that. I know my name's Paul Benjamin Brian Michael George Stamatovich. That's on my birth certificate.
Really?
So
Shit.
I don't think my mum really knew.
So she
just started throwing names, and like, one of them's his dad. And
wow.
And so yeah, she told me that. So that was that. Oh, I fucking lost. I was in bed crying and like just couldn't believe it. And I don't know how long it was until after that. I mean, I was sneaking out from the age of 11, 12, sneaking out anyway. So sneaking out wasn't an issue, or thinking I could live out there in the big world wasn't an issue for me. I thought, I got it. You know, I was fucking stuck out on a Friday night. I think I could do that for my whole life. And so it wasn't long before I started feeling in the way of them and me getting in trouble and thinking, what am I, you know, and all this. And the stepfather saying a few things to me that wasn't right, as in like, your mum's going to leave if you don't, you know, like just probably shit you shouldn't say. And
so kind of just playing games and shit.
Just playing games. And
I wondered from when I was listening to the Youngblood thing, you mentioned something after you explained that about how like now that you look back, you maybe felt that disconnect with the lady you thought was your mum. Do you think that's why she told you? Because she felt the disconnect and thought that maybe the honesty of it was better than you thinking that there was something wrong? You know what I mean? Like,
probably, yeah.
Because as much as the honesty was like a
knife,
a knife,
100%.
but maybe the long drawn out of her not feeling that connection with you.
Yeah,
You're not
definitely. And when's a good
kid.
time to tell someone that?
Yeah, never.
Like, there's never a good time unless it's done from nappies or when it's done straight off the bat.
Yeah.
There's not a good time for it. I mean, and later on in life, I mean, it could get messy. So I don't know. I think you're right. I think that she thought that was the way. I don't think it was done in a vindictive way.
Yeah, of course.
She was just being honest. She was just, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to tell you straight up. So I don't think it was done that sort of way. I think it was done in a way to, I don't know, maybe it's probably more of an adult way of looking at it, but maybe for me to respect a bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to be like, well,
hey, you're doing this shit, you're stealing these bikes, like I'm trying to take care of you and I'm actually not even your fucking mum.
And
So,
when you're like 11, 12, you're not thinking that, you know what I mean?
no, I'm only thinking that now, like, sort of thing is
yeah.
maybe that's what the whole idea was, it like to teach me, like, someone does something good for you, you got to give back a bit.
yeah,
like,
so
maybe.
how about make my life a little bit easier?
Yeah.
If I'm trying to fucking give you a
And then
roof
I don't mean that in a mean way to her either.
course,
I just mean that's, that's what you sometimes happens.
Well,
so.
she's already in a situation where, like, I mean, she could have just gone, well, fucking out on the street as soon as the
100%.
stepdad took off anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, that's.
I didn't take off. Stepdad didn't take off.
Oh, so no, real dad.
Yeah, real dad. Yeah, that's right.
Took off,
Yeah.
And-
so when real dad took off, she could have just gone, well, this is my fucking problem.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's even had you for that amount of
Shows
time.
what sort of lady she is, and it does. And
you still have some connection to her now.
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Not really. We've spoken. I've wrote out a big spill about the thank you, and it takes a special kind of person to do what you've done, and rah, and she's great. She's great. It's just more me, I think, just more me. And well, she didn't handle me telling her about the stepfather, what he was doing to me too well. So and I didn't want to push it. I didn't expect her to go, you know what, I'll piss him off now and let's reconnect. And I don't want, they live their life now and they live 20, 30 years without me. So
yeah, fair enough.
I'm past that. And I still call her mum. Even in conversations, I call her mum. She's my mum, and that's how I look at it. And I can't even say his name. So I just leave them to be who they are. And we haven't spoken for years now.
Yeah.
And did you ever try and track down original mum and try and find out at least just what ended up happening?
Definitely. So when I left home, I at 13, I gave my birth certificate. So I must have been a little bit mature, even, you know what I mean? Like without big, I'm going to need that. Like, so, because she showed me the birth certificate when I'd said, no, I don't believe it. And so it wasn't until I was 16, I still got that same birth certificate. That went everywhere with me. Folded up, creased, sticky tape. It's laminated now. But that went everywhere on the streets, everywhere. Dug a hole, stashed it, come back 3 months later, found it. Like, that's
insane.
It is insane.
Wow. Yeah.
And but when I was 16, I was on the piss, and I thought, well, I'm going to look up this Stamatovich. There can't be too many. There's no internet.
Yeah.
There can't be too many in the white pages. There was one, Stamatovich, and I was like,
okay,
I'll give it a crack. I rang up. This fella answered, and I told him my sort of story. And he goes, first thing he said was, I'm not your dad. I said, no, I'm not ringing to see if you're my dad. I'm just ringing to see if you know Audrey Hilda. Can't remember. Audrey Hilda King or something her name was.
Yeah.
He goes, in fact, I do. Like, rah.
Okay.
Give me your phone number. And I was at a mate's place. So I did a lot of surf cat, like, apps, shitloads of it. Feel like get in the way, then move on. But anyway, that's...
Yeah.
And so he rang me back within 20 minutes and said, oh, your mum's actually in Perth. That's where I grew up in Perth.
Okay.
And she's due to fly back to Tasmania tomorrow. Here's a number, ring her. So I was drunk. Rang her, fucking, hey, can't remember the conversation. Not because I was that drunk, but just because...
The adrenaline.
Yeah, you would have been like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm potentially talking to my mum here.
Yeah,
After all this time.
And she said, I'll come out and see you tomorrow. Come out and pick you up tomorrow and we'll go have lunch. I was like, okay, all right, cool. So me and my mate went down the beach, come back, anxiety through the roof because she was there. The car was there when we were walking up the road. There was a car there. We knew that it was going to be her. And she met me with a bottle of Jacks because it was my birthday. It was my 16th birthday.
Wow.
In about 3 days.
How's that for timing?
Yeah. So she gave me a bottle of Jacks for my birthday. Didn't really click.
Okay.
Didn't really click at all. She had 2 more kids. She sort of put it across that she's not going to tell her new partner about me.
Oh.
But she then followed up with, if you can make your way to Tasmania, that's where she was living. if you can make your way to Tasmania, we'll see what we can do, sort of thing. I was on the streets, like flights back then were, I don't know what they were, but
you weren't.
I wasn't thinking flights anyway.
Yeah.
And and that was it really. So she delayed her flight and stayed an extra week. So I visited. I went down to where my auntie, it was my auntie, my real mum's sister, and stayed there. And I stayed there for probably 6 months or so.
Okay.
And she went back to Tasmania, and I stayed there. And just slowly drifted apart. Like there's no Facebook and none of that sort of shit. And then I was at the Arnie's, and there was a few rules. Not rules. There wasn't rules, but there is rules when you go to someone else's house.
Yeah. And when you're 16.
Well, 16. I just done 3 years of fucking no rules.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No one told me what to do. Like I was just a smart ass. I was just like, no, I'm not fucking. No. What do you mean do dishes after fucking? No.
Yeah.
Just simple shit that. You look back now and go, dickhead. Like,
That's right.
I had an opportunity to better myself, and it wasn't the only opportunity I've blown, don't worry. But it's so I went and did my own thing again, and then caught up again when I was 26, 27. I actually went over to Tasmania and seen her, and I was there. I was meant to stay there 4 days. I was there 2 days. I went out with my brother and sister. Come back, and she got rid of the dog and said I was all too hard, and that just straight away just like, you know what, that's what you've fucking done to me. You know, it's just 7 years on, and you're getting rid of a dog because it was too hard. It just
very triggering. Yeah.
You know, and I had kids by then. Like when the second time I met her, I got 2 girls, and so it was a bit close to the heart. So I just did the old fake call and said, "Oh, I got to go back to work. I'm going now."
Yeah, okay.
And took off, and I haven't spoken to her since. And that was
so
fucking 23 years ago or something now.
Right. Okay.
And it's
so
one
you
of
don't
those.
know what she's doing now? Sorry, you don't know what she's doing now?
No, I drive through where she lives she lives back in Perth now. I know that just from stalking her Facebook page, but I don't even know why I stalk her Facebook page. I don't know, maybe
it's just that innate, like, it's your mother, I understand why you would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's got that kind of.
I know, but it's, it is. Yeah, I just every now and again have a look and see what's going on. And but the first night I was in Tassie was sat down, we had this fucking movie night with them travelling around the world in airplanes and fucking all this shit. And I'm just sitting back going, fuck yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
Even then I was starting to think, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
And then it took the whole dog thing. I was just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Some people are just not, you know what I mean? Just like, it's weird,
Fucking odd,
They might be your blood relative or whatever, but some people are just not your people. Like, it's so weird. How
still
that
be
works.
a shit person, even if it's blood.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I mean, look, I haven't fucking spoken to one of my brothers right now for months, and we've been on and off for fucking years. And I watched it happen with my dad and his brothers and shit like that. It's just, at the end of the day, it's not thicker than water. Like, I would consider you more of a fucking brother than my own. Sometimes it's just at the end of the day, it doesn't. But it's hard though, because it's like, the world would make you think or teach you like, oh, but you've got to have like, but I hate that thing. Oh, but they're your family. 100%. It doesn't fucking matter. If
it's
like
my sister, so my real mum's daughter, who's not with my dad wasn't her dad. Yeah. So fucking, what am I trying to say? Same mum, different dad.
Yeah.
So, and she was like, when I was 25 going to Tassie and that, she was like, I want to learn off you, like, and I just sit back. I even told her, I've got nothing to teach you. Like, seriously. And it wasn't at a point of there helping people or anything. I like to think I've been a good person all the way through, as in a good heart, but I was just like, that's that blood thing. It doesn't mean because we're blood, we're going to get along.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too far's done, too far. And it was probably a bit of jealousy involved from my behalf. Like,
yeah, well, if they're showing you fucking trips to Disneyland and you're sitting there on the streets, it's like,
I know. And it's got nothing to do with it. She's a great person. She helps, to this day, she's a social worker, helps kids on the streets. Just don't click.
Yeah.
Just don't click.
And you can't force that shit.
You can't force that shit.
And it ends up hurting you more to try.
Yeah.
To force something.
It becomes a chore, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then as soon as it becomes a chore, anything becomes a chore, it's fucking shit.
So you obviously you find out that bit of information about your mum, and then as you said, you're sneaking out, and you obviously really have this sense of like not belonging in that house. Obviously, everything's happening with the stepdad as well. So then you find yourself out on the street. How young are you when you're first spending your nights?
13
that is
fucking
insane.
That blows my mind, man.
And winter.
Yeah.
I could have waited
a good fucking time.
Yeah. Snowflakes coming down. He's like, he's in a pillow. Like,
Now, this is because you're from Perth originally, right? So you don't move to Adelaide. You come down to Adelaide in your late teens or something.
Yeah. I was 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're over in Perth and you're on the streets and you're 13 and you end up doing this for like, so is it kind of like if I remember correctly, it's like a cycle of like you'll spend a fair chunk out of there, end up getting caught with something with the police.
Yep.
They got no
fixed
choice
address.
but to take you back to the house.
That's how it was, And they would just drop me back and I'd stay there a month, 2 months, 3 months or whatever. And the stepdad didn't try anything more after a certain age, I think, when he knew that I knew that it wasn't right, sort of thing. Like, once after 13, I don't think he tried anything. It was between the ages of 10 and 13. He was doing some stupid shit.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd go back for a couple months and again, feel in the way. Once I had the taste of freedom, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just not fucking, again, dishes. Again, like this is just, no. I was a bit of a shithead. But,
but also when you've got someone who's fucking, that would obviously make you feel genuinely fucking like sick and discomfort to be around him.
I feared
that as well. Like, why would you want to be there? Well, again, I can imagine, and again, from how much we've sort of talked with people about this stuff, being out in the streets would seem less scary and less confronting
100%.
than being.
I didn't fear anything. I feared being alone, being cold, and that it's probably usual shit being out in the streets. But I actually feared the bloke when he was in the same house or whatever. It's just like, and it wasn't I didn't get random beltings or anything. I deserved a good flogging every now and again, but not some of the ones I got. Like there was a bit extreme, some of them, and some of them I thought he actually got off on it. Sexually,
well, probably did.
I really do think that because
otherwise, because you wouldn't do that to your kids.
No, 100% not. No,
so it's
they got a whack on the ass when they were younger, but I mean that's.
But they weren't getting beaten, like exactly,
not a chance, not even close. You just don't do that sort of shit. And one thing, the reason why I think it come out, I don't even know if he got off on it or whatever, is that I used to resist, like the old fishing rod, like fucking whack, and resist. And one time I was just like, okay, fuck it. Like, we always want the pants down, like, fucking ass cheek showing. I was like, all right, fuck it, did it. Put the pants down, ran over, and he didn't do it. He's like, nah.
See that?
And I sit back and think that, and I think that regularly, and I do, and I think that's fucking something not right up there, man. Psychologically.
And again, this isn't an excuse for him whatsoever, but I guarantee you that is a fucking cycle of behaviour that that happened to him, because that's the story. That's always the fucking case. You don't learn that.
No.
Like, I don't believe that most people don't just all of a sudden have that as a fucking thing.
No, of course not.
It's something that you fucking
It's in his
learn.
DNA.
It's a cycle of, whether it is directly or it's fucking generational that's fucked up in there.
Yeah.
And the fact that story just exists by the fucking thousand is so
I know, that's exactly
unnerving,
right.
man.
Yeah.
We've had, how many people have we had even on this fucking podcast that have like, this stepdad, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just fucking crazy.
It is.
And, again, you've already got the other shit going on, with your mum's fucking gone and all of the lineage of with your family. Then you're going to deal with this fucking shit on top of it as well. Like,
I know. It's pretty full on.
Yeah.
And when my kids got to 13, I looked down and was like, I was that age. Like, they look like babies, and I must have looked like a baby too. And you are at 13, you are. But it's again, like, I didn't fear being out there. I feared being home more.
Yeah.
And feared going back for what's going to happen when I go back. That was the biggest fear as well. Like being out in the streets for 6 months, 8 months, and then getting picked up by the cops and going back. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
And you would have started to get pretty good at like as much as you can. You would have started to pick up little bits and pieces. You knew 100%. Which clotheslines to hit. You knew 100%. Which, where to get little bits and pieces.
Where to sleep. I mean, there wasn't too many times, like, I wasn't one like when you walk around Adelaide and there's dudes sleeping like rough on the, on the concrete. I hid it as much as I could. Like, I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't want people to know or see. Even my mates, they didn't know. Like, it was
interesting. So you managed to even keep it from your mates?
Yeah, I did for the first good year or two. I was still playing cricket. Yeah. Like, I loved cricket so much.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing my stepdad got me into was cricket, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. So one time I went home, ganked me whites, and I would rock up to the cricket, like before cricket, take me trackies off, have me whites underneath ready, go play cricket. Everyone fucking afterwards go back to home. They think that I'm going back as well. I was going back to that bush, fucking whites off, keep the whites there. Knew we were playing cricket there the next week. Keep the whites under the bush in a plastic bag, put my trackies back on, and go fucking live my life.
Wild shit, man. So what eventually then made you go, all right, I'm going to leave Perth now? So obviously that was back and forth, doing that.
Yeah, well, I had a couple of attempts to leave Perth when I was 15. I tried. when I was 16, I did come over. We jumped on the back of a train, the ones that carry the passenger trains, and they got the cars at the back. So we jumped on and broke into a car and come over to Adelaide that way. And stayed 6 months.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
That's some like movie fucking shit right there.
We were just sitting there the week before, me and this fella, he was also homeless, and we're sitting there and the train goes past, and we thought, it's only going east. It's only going over wherever it's going. It's not going anywhere else. And it went past really slow, and we're like, fuck, we could get on that.
Yeah.
Let's have a crack. And then that week we got as fucking many clothes as we could together, and we sat there and waited for it that week. It was a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And we ran up and chased up and got on it. First car that was there we got into and sat in there all the way to Perth.
How long did it take to get across?
Oh, about 3 days.
Fuck. So what did you do for food?
See, he had $100 on him. So when we that was the second trip. We had $300. Hang on. So he had $100 on him. So we'd stop at Kalgoorlie. The train stopped at every 400 Ks or something, right? So it just stopped. So we'd get off the car. Security would come around and have a look at the cars, but they weren't thinking back then that people are breaking into cars. So they were just looking to see that everything's tied down and everything.
Yeah.
So we'd go get, and back then we're talking chips, minimum chips was 40 cents.
Yeah.
So money went a lot further, as we were just talking about
Good
before.
Old inflation, bro.
Than what it did now. So food was, I never really, I went hungry, but I also used my deceptive ways as also to go in and get $60, 60 cents worth of chips from a fish and chip shop. And there was so many fish and chip shops around Perth, obviously, same as Adelaide. And just give my mum's just left me with my brother to look after the kids. I got no dinner, blah, blah, blah. Yep, no worries. Hand over 60 cents worth of chips. So you just learn to get food like very quickly. And back then, I don't know if they'd even do it now. Bakeries used to have like all the pies and pasties and that behind the back and the milk. And so food wasn't really an issue, but so we'd stop a couple of times. We'd get up, and there's plenty of times I went hungry on that train ride. There was like a day and a half of just fucking not eating, but you just don't eat. You don't, you know what I mean? You just fuck whatever.
And the adrenaline the whole time you've been going, I'm going to go fucking do this.
We're going to Adelaide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like we're fucking going somewhere we don't know where we're going. We lasted 6 months.
Okay.
And that was when I had my first. So when I left home 13 to 21, I didn't get into the drug cycle at all. It was all about survival. So breaking into houses, and it was to cook food in microwaves. It was to grab the easy cash. It wasn't about TVs and wasn't about doing the hardcore shit to get fucking money for drugs. And come to Adelaide, and the first introduction of drugs was heroin or cocaine, where we met up with these people. And I look back now and think, you fucking dirty bastards. Don't push that on the kids. These are like 30-year-old dudes.
Okay.
And I said, I'll have the cocaine. Didn't even know anything about drugs, to be honest with you. And I was like, didn't know whether I was going to be lying on it, but it was an injection.
Okay.
I was like, okay, all right. My mate took the heroin, and I don't know where he is to this day. I don't know. But anyway, but I got a dirty hit. I don't know if you know what a dirty hit is, but I've heard it's like a bit of dust particle or something on the needle. So it goes in. And I was bedridden for about 6 hours in the fetal position, like throwing up, like rah. So that was my introduction to drugs, and I was like, fuck that. So I'm glad that happened at that age then, and it wasn't until later on that I had another crack. But so then I got up. I didn't want anything to do with that. So I went back to he stayed there. He wanted to stay there, so he liked the heroin.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, obviously, for obvious reasons. So I don't know what happened to him, but I went back to social services, Centrelink, whatever it's called, and said, can I get a bus ticket home? Homeless, blah, blah, blah. They said, as long as you go back to your, like, what's your real mum's like? What's your parents' numbers, blah, blah. So they rang them and said, you can go back as long as you go back to them. I got off at the train station in Perth and see you later, went and did my own thing again. So that was, so it wasn't until 2021, I was sitting with a good mate of mine. He's passed away from heroin overdose now. This is a totally different fella.
Okay.
And we were just sitting around on the piss I drank a lot through 13 to. Yeah. I don't drink as much now, but when I do, I go hard. And we'll just sit around on the piss and said, let's go to Adelaide. And I was like, I've been there. Like, fuck yeah, I know where to go, rah. Like, places that help out with food and whatever.
Any reason why Adelaide is it just because it's the next thing?
Yeah. When we were 16, going over, we heard that Adelaide was the capital of crime. Easy to do crime, I mean. That's what I heard. The police are a lot lenient. That's just rumour bullshit on the streets, Cops are cops. They're going to fucking sort you out no matter what you do. So so that was it. Adelaide was closest. And we're like, fuck it, yeah, let's go to Adelaide. Let's travel Australia and get jobs and travel Australia, rah, rah. So we come to Adelaide and we left with $350. We left Perth. And again, we got on the train, but legally this time. Put our fucking dog checks together, bought a ticket. It was like $60 each to come to Adelaide or something. It was like crazy. So, and the train broke down in Kalgoorlie. Oh. So we spent about $180 on piss in Kalgoorlie. We ended up getting to Adelaide with about $50.
Out of 300.
Like, yeah, and we're like, fuck, this hasn't really worked out too well. So we didn't know what to do. And Islington only work out now. It's a little bit out of the city. It's not real central, where Perth's is right central. So we didn't know where we were walking and whatever. So it was like, fuck it, let's just get in a cab, take us to the nearest pub. That was the solution.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years later that I worked out he fucking absolutely ripped us, took us around to Hutt Street from Islington, where he could have just taken us to. Anyway, whatever. You know what? It's a blessing because it worked out really well. We're sitting there and this dude's there, he's having a few beers, he's a bit pissed. He goes, what are you boys doing? So I told him, like roughly. He goes, oh, do you just want a job? I was like, fuck yeah, we want a job.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Yeah, right.
And it was on when the Grand Prix was here. It was the last year of the Grand Prix. Okay. So when was that? 93.
Yeah.
I reckon it was.
Just after I was born.
Yeah. And so we got a job on the back of the garbage trucks.
Okay.
We worked 5 days. We cleared like fucking $1,400. It was like, wow, this is good. Yeah. It was with a good company, like this company anyway. And then he goes, where he's living? Well, this is it, man. This is it. We've got $30 after a taxi ride, a few beers. This is $30. I've got a spare bedroom. Like, bullshit. He goes, I work away. He's an electrician. Mm-hmm. He goes, I work away and won't be home. Like, I'm away 3 weeks, home 1 week. Rah, rah, do you want to stay there? Like, fuck yeah.
That generosity of a complete random man.
Absolutely. Which is really, there's shit like that that's inspired me to do, to give back.
Gives you faith in humanity,
It does, and it does. And just fucking total stranger. Like, you know, like even to, you know, I don't want to sidetrack from that and be about me or whatever, but even go and pay for someone's shopping. I won't film it. You know what I mean? I won't fucking film it. I'm not in it for the fucking, look,
glory.
Look at me, I'm fucking,
It's about the surprise the person gets when, I don't let them know I'm doing it. It's done and I'll walk off. I'll give it to the cashier or whatever and say, fucking, you know, pay for this person's groceries. If they look like they're doing it a bit hard or whatever. Or even now what I'm starting to do to maybe spread the word more is not so much look for people in need, but for people that are doing all right, because with the hope that they're going to pass it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it becomes like a bit of a cycle.
What's that called again? Pay it forward. Yeah.
Okay. Forward, so that's, so I'm all about helping people in need. But anyway, getting back to that fella. So we went and stayed there for a while and he met a girl, I met a girl. And then fortunately the girl he met was into heroin and he got into heroin and within 2 years he was dead.
Wow. So that was a long time ago that he passed away.
He passed away in 01.
Okay. Yeah.
So he and again, I wasn't on social media or anything. So he went back to Perth and carried on the drug habit in Perth. And then me and my partner who I'm with now, we went over to Perth to go visit him. And I went to his mum's house, who was absolutely ripping to me, like help me, like, you know, I'd stay there, you know, every third weekend, second weekend again. I didn't want to intrude. And she's like, don't you know? I was like, no, what? He's passed away.
So you didn't even know?
I didn't even know.
I guess because like, you wouldn't have had like the connection like you do now.
No, that's right. I wasn't on Facebook. I don't even know if Facebook was, I don't even know how long it's been around. 2001, I don't even think it was around.
I don't think it would have been 2001.
No way. Yeah, 08 was when it kind of
was it really?
So it's a fucking while after that.
Yeah, so there was I didn't know. He'd been passed away for 3 months or something.
Right.
I was like, fucking hell. So I went and visited him up in the thing and shed a tear. Like we were close, like we were, you know, schoolmates went through, you know, and sat down there and said, fuck, we should have stuck together, bro.
Yeah. It's sad to see that he deteriorated to that. You know,
So you're here in Adelaide, you're living with that bloke now. I think one of the cool stories was obviously you've, what was the cricket club? Was it Gazer?
Yeah.
You walked past the Gazer cricket club, you've gone, you know what, I'm going to fucking go in here and show them a bit of the skill.
That's right.
Which, I mean, it's cool. You mentioned through, in that interview as well about like how much that cricket has kind of like played like an integral part in a lot of your ability to keep yourself moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, and you know, the only thing that as I said, getting older was the only thing that stopped you. But you know, I guess if there's one good thing to come from the stepdad, obviously it was cricket.
It was.
And
yeah, 100%. There was the one thing. And community sport is so important.
Oh yeah,
massive.
My mates now are all from playing cricket.
Yeah.
Like they're not schoolmates, or obviously because I'm different states or whatever. I don't even really talk to anyone at all. I don't talk to anybody I went to school with, to be honest. And so it's so important, and it gives you confidence. And I was a all right bowler, and so I had the confidence of going, you know what, I need to go in and fucking let a few go. And I hadn't played, so I played on and off throughout being homelessness. Like when I'd go home for 3 or 4 months, if it happened to be in summer, I'd play every fucking week for that 3 or 4 months. And then I'd go away, I won't play for 2 years, then come back again, play every fucking game, right? And
consistency that you lacked, basically.
And that's the important years for anything. Like, if you're going to be any like good at something. So, but I knew I could let a ball go. I knew I could bat a bit. So I went into Gazer and let a few go, and I bowled about 6 balls, and they come up and said, "Who are you playing for?" I said, "No one, just come in and roll the arm over. Who you work for?" "No, don't go to the job." So they gave me a job. Went and played for them, and it wasn't like you got to play for us. It was just a kind gesture. We'll get you a job. I was like, "Fuck, of course I'm going to play for you."
Fucking
absolutely. And that for confidence, that just boosts your whole confidence. Is that
it gives you purpose when again so
and
much
feeling wanted.
Yeah, 100%.
And feeling wanted is a good
when
feeling.
you've lacked that for such most of your childhood as well, that feeling, and then you build your friendships from the players around you, and then you get that camaraderie of playing on the weekends. It just adds so much value, and it is what you said about community. I mean, we've talked about it so much on this podcast before. It's just incredibly important.
So important, and it's dying. The cricket, like the teams are struggling to fill teams because kids are too busy on Xboxes, and they can play a test match on the fucking Xbox. Why are they going to go stand out in 40-degree heat and play cricket? And it should be pushed more, and it should be that community.
I think there should be more money put into sports in general, man.
100% there should be. Exactly right, to entice people to go play.
Because that's the thing, that's as well. Like if kids knew that there was more money even to be made as they get into their late teens or whatever, they would be more enticed by it. But it's like 100%. They can get more money being a fucking TikTok dancer.
That's right.
So what are you going to do? Again, stand out in the field for 40 when you can fucking Zed snap in front of a camera and all of a sudden
get a gift. Yeah.
Especially with all the creepy cunts that want to fucking see teenagers dancing on TikTok anyway, right?
Think about how good it would be if, like, from under 6s to under 15s, let's say, it was free. You didn't have to pay. You just rolled up, you play cricket. If you continue,
it didn't put pressure on the parents, did it? That's what that does.
Like, that's the thing. How many kids that are like, affected by everything that's fucked in this world that are so naturally talented that never get to actually go and find out how far they could have gone because again, like the fees of this and the boots of this and the what and it fucking adds up. I mean, I've had my son playing soccer for the last 3 years, and luckily it is actually pretty good. But like that's I can see how that would be hard for some families.
Definitely.
It was hard for my parents when I wanted to play sport as well.
Because you had 3 brothers. Imagine if all 3 of your brothers wanted to play, then all of a sudden a $400 membership for the year becomes $1,000. You got the boots, you got the.
Well, that's the thing. Dad's on a disability pension.
That's exactly right.
Dad's on a disability pension. Mum's his carer. Like there's no income coming in. They're every down to the last dollar is accounted for in my house growing up. So. It should be something where money going into that to allow them just to play it for free. And then again, when you turn 16, well, then all of a sudden, when you start playing adults or whatever as well, you can start making money.
That's right. Yeah, there's got to be incentive there. I mean, and now, you know what? 11 kids rock up to cricket and they all get a participation. What the fuck the word is?
Participation.
You said it right the first time.
I think so. They all get an award for just rocking up. I mean, I remember like trophy night was like, wow, wicked. Like,
we're going to fucking win,
we're going to get the trophy. Like, you got the bowling trophy. I mean, all that's been taken out of it. The competitive side. I mean, you've got to have that competitive spirit in sport. And I think it's just, it's lacking, and it really 100%. Needs to, they really need to have a look at that. But,
well, you look at places like England and Spain and stuff like that, and their junior like systems for soccer is just wild, bro. Like they've got literal like full schools and like pathways that you can go and play the EPL and play the Spanish league, and they're picking up kids that are age 13, 14 that are getting paid $1 million a year, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts, bro.
There's just none of that shit. There's
even in AFL, man.
Yeah, even grassroots AFL.
The scholarships and shit in America with all their sports. And, like
just don't have anything yet. And that's the thing as well. Like it is a lot of the the kids need the extra support as well. Through again, you know, so many of my mates that just wanted to play footy or whatever, but didn't get that support at all. You went out and did Port Districts or whatever, but then again, the school falls by the wayside. There's no there's no joining of the two. So yeah, there definitely needs to be some more there. But
it should nearly be a thing at school. I know if there is PE or whatever, but there should be nearly be a class. I mean,
100%.
Me at school, what good was fucking 3 pi times 2? Nothing, zero. I lost it. Like that's why I was gone by 13. If it was actually of like, fuck, I've got cricket next class.
You'd stay there, even if it's just for cricket, man.
Don't know if I would, but I mean, it would give you that, you know, like, something to look forward to.
That's always been the thing, man. Like nothing's ever been tailored enough to try and actually, you know, tailor it to what kids actually need. And, you know, you're going to find similarities between them, but it's just this one trap fucking thing that doesn't really help anyone. But getting back to you, obviously, so you're in Adelaide and you stay with that bloke for a couple of years before I think he finds a missus. So is this it? You're in Adelaide now for the rest of your life from this point? Other than tripping back to Perth? And so then you get with your previous partner and have kids. How old are you at that point?
Daughter's going to be 25.
Okay. Yeah. So you've so 21's obviously when you first come over. So you've got that couple of years of
couple of years. You know what? That couple of years of being stable.
And
it was a good time of my life. I've just reconnected on Facebook with one of the people that back then. I just connected today with him of all funny things.
Okay.
So I mean, we've chatted previously, but it's I went through some mental bullshit, you know, a few years ago and just isolated myself from everyone as you do. And, so that was that was 4 years, 3 or 4 years of just belonging, you know, and with this cricket working. So life was great. Life was really good. Then I met this, this chick before my current partner. I met my current partner before.
Okay. Which is funny.
Which is, I was a bit of a rat bag then, and I just had to do what I had to do and move on. And so then I met this other lady, and she was already into drugs, and I sort of knew, but I was a bit naive to it. Again, I only had that one experience back when I was 16 with cocaine, so I wasn't really. I was around it. I seen it on the streets. You see, but it was more people on the streets aren't on that shit. Not back then. It's all about glue sniffing and. Drinking fucking flagons and sniffing petrol and, you know, it's all that sort of shit. It wasn't really the ones that were on speed. They were in and out the boys, like in and out the juvie system, just, you know, and probably, you know, locked up now. But thankfully I stayed away from that. But so she was on it and I was working long hours where I was working for this where I was playing cricket. And I got back when I was, so Fridays were like a 20-hour day. You know, 8 in the morning to midnight or, you know, like 3 in the morning. It was just crazy. It was just crazy shifts. And I was getting home Friday night just absolutely knackered. The next day knackered. She goes, oh, do you want to try something to get you through? And I was like, fuck, yeah. All right, let's give it a crack. So it was straight in the injection. There was no lines or anything then. And so, yeah, I injected speed, amphetamine. And wow, it was... Stayed awake and felt fantastic and thought, I can do this. No dramas. I'll do this every Friday morning. That was the plan. Do it Friday morning. It'll get me through all Friday. I'll be that knackered. I'll sleep Saturday, back to work. Doesn't fucking pan out like that.
No.
As you know, you probably know, as you know. So I was awake Friday night, Saturday night. And then had to get back up for Monday. I was like, well, the only way I'm going to back up for Monday is to fucking go again. So what started out as... I don't know, say $150 a week, 8-ball habit, quickly turned into $1,000, $1,200 a week. I was earning $800 a week. She wasn't earning anything, so something had to give. And it wasn't long where I was working. So I'd been at work there 5 years or whatever, 5 or 6 years, and gone up the ranks to like supervisor. I won't name the company or anything, obviously. And got to supervisor. It was a transport company. And so then I started fucking ganking shit to support the habit. And
that's when you know that, like, all right, now that I'm fucking stealing shit to support it, like,
And at the same time, I went and bought a house. And like, I remember driving away from that. Not only did I buy the house by myself, but I went and selected the curtains, the fucking tiles all by myself. And then I was just like, fuck, she's meant to be with me doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we're in this together. Like, okay, the house is in my name, I'm working, whatever, but this is meant to be a fucking joint operation here. So there was alarm bells ticking then, and then that was all in the. I just knew it was fucking wrong. That was when my first daughter was being born as well. I was right in the middle of the addiction. Second daughter being born. Funny how, so I got 2 daughters, both call me dad. One's not biologically mine, the oldest one, but I've been with her since she was 3. She's now 29 or whatever it is now. So I don't mean any disrespect to you, Jesse, when I say, my first daughter, you know what I mean. And so Jordan was coming along to be born, and I was right in the middle of the addiction, and I just knew this wasn't a good time, not a good time at all. And then stealing from work, and the drug habit just getting out of control, where it's just fucking every day needed it just to keep up, because you keep chasing that buzz. You don't get it. And that's what people, I don't think, understand, is that you have it once, you're just you're chasing that high, and you don't get it.
You're afraid of the come down. You know,
the come down
because the longer you've gone, the more it's going to fucking hit you like a ton of bricks. So you're like, well, might as well keep going, because that's actually easier right now.
It is.
Than fucking stopping.
And that's how you can see the cycle developing there, can't you, really?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to fucking come off of it because of the come down, and then you're like, I'll buy more, and then you're like, all right, now I've got no fucking money. So it just kind of runs in a circle. And
Well, because that's the thing as well, is that, if you stop, you're not going to work for that next few days. Like,
100%.
That's it. It's the come down is writing you off for 3, 4, 5, 6 days.
And in the end, I had to go to work to support the habit. That's how fucked it was. I had to go to work to grab shit to support the habit. And in the end, it was backing in a trailer, filling it with shit, telling people, don't load that. Like, it was just got fucking like, it just fries you. It fucking does. Let alone what this ice shit now. I mean, that's even as potent, more worse. It's fucking pure shit. But it got to that sort of stage, and I was good. Would be a good 18 months of doing that, I reckon.
Okay, so a decent slab, man.
A decent, and it started off like, just the odd bit of shit here and there, and then, like I said, it quickly grew out of control. And no, it wouldn't have been 18 months. It would have been 12 months. Yeah, it would have been 12 months. And I should have put that on silent.
That's all right. There's no stress.
And and then it got to the stage where it was just the bosses, everyone's starting to know that something in Adelaide, someone's stealing a lot of shit in Adelaide. So I was on the big forklift, and I remember to this day, on a big forklift, a boss walked past and said, "Cops are going to Ben's tonight." I don't know whether he said that to see what my reaction was or whether it was genuine or what. I was like, fuck. And put the container down, got off the forklift, got in my car, never went back to that workplace.
Wow, that was it.
That was it. I knew that's it. I've done my dash here. And so disappointed, and I was so disappointed in myself, really, because I had a great opportunity. I had so many opportunities throughout my life to better myself, and fuck them all, seriously. And that was just another example of, and I think that's why maybe today I struggle with the mental health side of it, because I think too deep into all that sort of shit and go, it's this fucking shit, all right, that's done. Yeah, I know, what if? So, so I keep trying to tell myself, that's done, that's shit's done. And got home. This is the new house we're in now. I only had the house, I reckon, about 6 months, to be honest. I owned it for about 6 months. And we're out there, it just went dark. I was at the kitchen doing something, looked over the back fence, seen some torches. I'd already parked the car down the road planning for it. Don't know what I was thinking. I think I was going to jump the back fence. That's what was going through my mind. We'll just jump the back fence with the kids and fucking shit.
Yeah.
And try and do the run. Anyway. And again, you don't think when you're off your fucking face, you don't think rationally. I mean, you are rational. So, I seen the spotlights. I was like, fuck, time to go. Grab the kids. Peeked out the front door. No one was around. Walked out the front door, snuck through fucking houses with, Jordan was 6 months old.
Yeah, okay.
Other daughter was 3.5, and we're like, what's fucking hell, man? Going through anyway, get to the car around the corner, get in it, fuck off. And went and stayed at a motel. In a motel. We eventually ended up at her dad's place down at near Outer Harbour there. And not knowing, but this whole time the cops are following me everywhere.
Oh, okay. So they knew.
They knew where I was. They wanted the stuff back, and they weren't getting them back. It was gone. Yeah. But they wanted to know where the fuck is all this shit gone, because it was a lot. It was a lot gone.
Yeah.
And so we're at her dad's house. I'm looking out the front window. There's a back that's when cops drove Falcon and a Commodore. That's what they drove. And looked down the end of the street. There was a group of shops. I looked down the end of the street, see a red Commodore. 3 hours later, see a blue Falcon parked in the exact same spot. Like, I can only eyeball this house. So I knew they were on to me then. That's when I knew they were on to me. But later on, I found that they were watching me the whole fucking time from motel to motel.
No
And so I eventually rang up the cop shop and said, look, I'm going to hand myself in, Ben Stamatovich. And they're like, we've been expecting your phone call. Yep, no worries, coming in. So I said, I'll be in there tomorrow. So next day I go in there. My ex is with me. And I was like, I think I'm going to be in here a while. Let's go to the shop. It was just literally fucking to the front of the house.
Yeah.
Like the shop. I said, let's just drive to the front of the shop and get a hamburger or something before I go in. Pulled up there, 6 cop cars just boxed us in. Okay. I said, it's all right, man, not doing the run. Like I'm genuinely just going to get something to eat. Like, rah. So sweet. So I was in there. Yeah, they kept me in, I don't know, a couple of days or whatever it was. And wanted to know where all the shit was, fucking everything. I said, it's all gone. There's nothing. I got nothing. What's in the house is that's all that's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they emptied the house. Just to empty the house, they had to get a 40-foot container.
Oh shit.
That's how I decked out the furniture of the house with shit. Like it was just way over the top, just
shit.
going way too far. Yeah. And so that happened. So then went back to the house. The ex then was like, I'm out. To me, and I don't want to throw her a bus, but I mean, she was just in it in the end for the free drugs.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. As soon as that dried up, she didn't want a bar. Yeah, 100%. And so she was out. So I was sitting in the house. I'm talking literally nothing. They took the fridge. They left me an esky, which was my esky. They left me an esky and a milk crate. And I'm sitting there in this brand new house, just
that's surreal, man.
Coming down.
Yeah.
Like they had, there was still photos on the wall, a couple of photos of the kids. And that's what, at that stage kept me alive. I mean, I had a couple of attempts when I was 14, one when I was 14, one when I was 16. Yeah. And then at 26, whatever it was I'm going to do it. And then looked at the photo, broke down tears of the 2 kids and thought, well, it's not about me now. It's, I've got to fucking, unfortunately, I mean, as much as that was my lowest point, it wasn't then sitting in the house on a fucking milk crate. It wasn't my lowest point just yet. It was still to come, but that was, so I left the house for the last 8 weeks we were there, I didn't pay any mortgage that we were there. So had letters from the bank coming. I didn't have a phone or anything, so they couldn't ring me or anything. So it was just letters, and it's like, we're going to come and take your fucking house if you don't start paying your mortgage. So I went to the phone box and rang up the bank, and they were brilliant. They were fucking, because we don't want to take your house, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because let's make up a payment plan. So I gave them a bit of a rundown of what's going on. Like, just lost my job. I didn't get the details of, I'm a fucking drug addict, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Hey, mate, I've just been fucking doing a whole bunch of fucking
something real bad.
And I owed repayments were $106. That's what fucking shits me too. Repayments were $106 a week. It was nothing.
When you think about that now, that's one of the packets of fucking durries I saw.
I know,
hey,
100%. And I was like, yeah, no worries. I'll fucking, he said, just make $50 a week up until you can get a job and rah. I was like, yeah. If I was making $50, it was going on fucking drugs. It's as simple as that. It was, the cops raid, the empty house didn't faze me. I thought, well, what the fuck? What else am I going to do? Fuck it, I'll just keep doing this. And so I eventually just fucking didn't pack up. I grabbed my clothes and just fucked off and left the house. Didn't ring the bank, didn't do nothing, just walked out and left the house.
Oh, shit.
Went to motel. Me and the ex were getting back together, on and off, getting back together, getting on. I was going out doing a bit of fucking crime or whatever to keep feeding the habit, because it's hard to drop from that $1,500, $2,000 a week habit down to fucking just have a gram for a week or whatever. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no, and in your way of thinking, it's just not going to happen. I've got to fucking keep doing shit to find out. So I'd off do my bloody sneaky shit. And then one day we were staying in a motel. I don't know how long it was after we lost the house, or after I left the house, we were staying in a motel. Her brother just rocks up. Says, I'm taking the kids. I said, you two fucking need to pull your heads in.
Yeah.
And get your shit together. And I was 27, 28 at that time. Again, age and putting shit together is really...
Of course,
because a lot of time will probably blend in.
Fucking oath, it does. It does. It blends in. And I was like, fuck. So he left with the kids. Him and his missus took the kids. And we weren't in a position to go, fucking no, you're not, like, a bit sensible and like thinking, well, fuck, he's right. He's right. We live in motel to motel and fucking kids don't deserve that. And poor Jessie was at school. She was fucking put in about 5 schools before she was grade 2. Like, I mean, a lot of kids go through that, and I don't, a lot of kids go through that. But you're staying in this area for a fucking month, then you're this area, like.
Yeah.
Plus, you guys are just obviously fucking fried as well at that point.
Fried and dropping her off to school. I mean, how we had looked. Like people do look. As when you look at people now and go, fucking hell, that's how I looked. But so he took the kids, and that was a bit of a turning point. That was rock bottom. The kids going like, I lost the cars, 2 cars, and hocked them. I hocked the fucking cars. Like when I left home, when I left the house, went to cash converters and hocked the car. And then went to another cash converters, hopped my other car, and I still owed money on it as well. And they still, and I dodged up the rego to make it look like I didn't. And then they fell for it. And I was like, deceiving as fuck.
Yeah.
And so hocked them just to get on. It wasn't to fucking, look back. When you fucking hock the car and pay the house $1,000 bucks, I got $4,000 for the car. I was like, fuck, man, that's a lot of gear. And that's how I fucking took it. So at gear and pokies. So they go hand in hand, and they do with addiction. And it was pokies and speed. And so, I said to her, well, I'm done. I said, I'm fucking done. Them kids been taken away. That's not right. It's not right. And you would think with my upbringing that I had that I'd, probably be a bit more switched on when the kids were born and be a bit more, but I just wasn't. It's just the addiction again. I mean, I like to blame the addiction but it was a bit of me as well, as a bit selfish. But that was the point then. And Jordan was, should have been 1.5, 1, and Jessie again 4, 5, and it might have been 2 and 6. I don't know. And so I went and stayed in a caravan park. I hooked up with these people that I'm talking to now. I've met on Facebook. I reconnected with them, and they were really good people. Not that the person I'm reconnecting now but he's a friend of the person that I was friends with. And I said, can I meet you at the pub? Like, rah. He goes, yeah, sweet. So as soon as he's walking, and he knew I was fucked. He knew. He goes, I've got no money for you. I was like, and even that hurt, like, because I didn't want fucking money. I just wanted someone to talk to, and just a bit of a
jump to that.
Bit of a guy. Yeah, the fact that they jumped to that, I mean, and that's my own doing, and that hurt. And I said, no, I want to go to a caravan park and just go cold turkey, fucking sleep it off, do whatever I've got to do, just struggle through. So he gave me a tent and a sleeping bag. I went to Windsor Gardens caravan park, fucking sat there. Thankfully it was spring or autumn. The weather was fucking all right. And I just literally just stayed there for fucking 3-4 weeks, just mellowing out, going for walks, not fitness, but just getting out, getting the fucking fresh air, getting everything working again in my head.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, when I knew I was, stupid to say that I was past the addiction. I was past the addiction part of it. I still dabbled with it for years afterwards, but I didn't go into it fucking hardcore. Yeah. Where my ex stayed there, and she became one of the biggest dealers in Adelaide. Like, so she just progressed and progressed and progressed. So when I cleaned up and then went and got the kids back off the brother-in-law, we still see each other. So she'd still feed me. Okay. Yeah, bit, I think she didn't want to see me get, progress. Yeah. She just wanted to keep me under the thumb sort of thing with the drugs. And so.
And it's one of those things where, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
right. People do that because then it validates, because if you say yes, then they're right to be on. And, I wanted to say before we started this podcast, that I've had dealings with that shit as well with a lot of my friends and myself personally. But I watched that with my mates, especially the ones that were dealing. They would put themselves broke by feeding people free fucking shit all night because they were going to stay up and smoke all night. So I'm like, you're supposed to be selling, and you're not even just fucking smoking the profit yourself. This is what it was. Everyone was smoking. And you said about the icing as well, which I think is funny, because my first time around it was gear like pseudoephedrine stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that shit was fucking, like, if that was still easily accessible, I'd maybe still be fucked. Yeah. It was because it turned to ice that I watched the change in all of my friends. Okay. And luckily that's what stopped me. Yeah. Because when it was the pseudo shit, we would fucking do mates pave their whole backyard.
100%.
You know, fucking, you know,
Fuck yeah.
build extensions on houses, like fucking
Yeah.
go to all the bottles and
So
cans.
that's different
run.
now, isn't it, with the ice? Does it give them that? I don't know. I don't know.
What I watched is that everyone would just go, again, online, pokies on their phone.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision into their phone,
Yeah.
playing FIFA, but it was like there was no conversation. And like,
Yeah.
you know, obviously I've done a lot like, you know, MDMA and stuff as well. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the shit that I've always, like I because of my, like, I'm a very fucking social person or whatever. So like, if I'm going to do a drug,
Yeah.
I want it to enhance my, like,
Yeah,
I
you
want
don't
to
be
sitting
curling
here
in a
telling-
corner,
I
yeah.
want to be telling this guy how much I love him. I want to be, you know, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
high for me. And again, and something where, you know, you don't want to do it all the time. It's it's an every now and then thing. But as soon as I watched all my mates, we've got 10 of us in a house and no one's fucking talking to each other. I'm like, oh, this isn't for me at all. And thank fuck, because, you know, again, if it had been,
And that was
the other
because
stuff,
they banned the pseudoephedrine, Sudafed tablets.
as soon as they stopped them, like, you know, people weren't able to get a hold of it easily anymore, and they locked it the fuck down.
Yeah.
And that's when ice just ripped through. And
there's always going to be that.
100%, man.
Always going to be something else that replaces whatever they try, unfortunately.
now there's fucking fentanyl and everything, you know what I mean? Like, because again, it's just about everything's
I'm
just
glad
being,
I'm fucking out of it.
everything's just being cut to shit. But again, the point of that is what I was saying is that watching people, you know, keep people on it because they want to be able to justify their own addiction.
Yep.
And you know, the thing was, I've one of the things that I've always wanted to say this is I think the biggest problem, particularly with the way that they advertise drugs, especially the harder stuff, maybe not heroin, but particularly your amphetamines, right? They advertise it as you do this once and you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's not the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that, again, even myself, I was so like, I saw my mates start to do it and I was like, no. But then they were all just having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
No one was stealing their fucking nan's purse. Everyone was going to work on the Monday morning.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of the, you know, what they don't ever teach you is that you can actually be completely highly functional for a long period of time. And you said 12 months. That first 3-6 months, you were probably fucking killing shit.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, what,
Yeah.
like, again, you weren't spending enough so that you had enough to still pay your bills or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And you're like, I'm living life at a higher level.
Yeah.
I'm not that tired. I'm fucking feeling great. So they don't tell you that part of it. Like when they do the adverts and they're scratching bugs out of your skin or whatever. When they do that stuff, they don't show you that that's the end of the road.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
they're not
after
showing
it's
you the real.
that's after it's completely ripped everything from you.
Yeah.
So then people get roped into trying it because of other people want to justify, and then they do it, and all they have is that great euphoric feeling that they start to chase, and and by the time they get to that point of completely fucked,
Yeah.
well, there's no
Yeah.
part of them left to even be conscious of what's actually
Yeah.
happened or the destruction in their wake. So
100%.
I think it's so important and to understand that it's like that's the thing is that, you know, you can, I mean, I had a friend that I'm very good friends with now and she's got, you know, lots of beautiful kids and whatever, but like she was, you know, working full time as a manager and like, you know, we used to go and sit in the car park and fucking and she'll just go back to work. And that was like years of her life.
Yeah.
And no one who was outside of
know.
that circle would have even known. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes it doesn't even get to that point where.
And that's a thing with everyone's different too. I mean, I've got a really addictive personality. So if I do something, I fucking just go in hard. Like even to drinking now, I drink 3 times a year, but it'll be fucking 26 cans of Jacks or something on that night.
Yeah.
And so when I got into it and gradually got into it, it was just because of my personality as well. And no ads or whatever would have done any different to me at all. No, zero. It sometimes takes to fucking have a go to realise how bad it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or hearing from other people's experiences sometimes might shock people into go, well, fuck, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And my daughter's fucking anti-drug.
Yeah.
Absolutely anti-drug. There's zero. Not even. They don't even talk to their mum now because of shit that's happened. Like she's been clean for 10 years or something, but the damage that was done it's too late for them. The things that they seen and and so so for me personally, it was a addictive personality which I've got, and so I just go in fucking hard So once I got on that, you know what, started that once a weekend thing, but then it's just like, this is just fucking, why not do fucking 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And that's what I watched with all my mate. Like, you know, for my time, it was always because I was so conscious of the come down and I was, you know, I was living out of home or whatever. And I was like, this is a Friday night, maybe Saturday night thing.
Okay,
Always sleep on Sunday night and then
Yeah.
go to work during the week.
Yeah.
And then when I ended up losing. It's so funny. I had a dream last night.
And you
about
thought you
this.
were like all in control.
Yeah, well,
of it
I lost
all.
the job, and I look back now, and I still have nightmares about this job. And I had one last night. Literally, this manager always comes up in my dreams because like I was just a shit cunt. Like I remember like falling asleep, like feeling like I was falling asleep. And even when I lost that job, I had every excuse under the sun. And Mum, if you're listening, you don't know any of this, and you're probably going to fucking kill me. So, and even Erica as well, you're always like, don't want me, but fuck you, all right? We're having a fucking
real,
we're having a hard hitting conversation. But like, I think the reason I have dreams and nightmares about it, and like you said as well, like and I try not, because again, my life has turned out very fucking good and amazing now. But you look back and you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You lost that. It wasn't these things that you fucking concocted and said, oh, it's because of this and whatever else. It's like, no, you weren't pulling your fucking weight.
Yeah.
You were you were just getting there. You were rocking up late all the time or whatever.
Just doing the bare minimum, eh?
Yeah. So what? You didn't end up getting on in the weekdays or whatever, but you were fucking still half a human because of how hard you were going. And because the other thing is as well is that like, it turns, and again, drinking is the problem that I've now started to have to address in the last few years.
Yeah.
Because same problem. I've never let any of my addictions become 7-day addictions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
But my weekend since I was 18 has been complete fucking pandemonium all the time.
And then when you start Monday, you'll be looking forward to Friday.
Yeah.
And the problem
Just
was as
knowing
well
it's
is that
gonna
when I used to get on the gear, superhuman drinking capabilities, because the drugs,
go straight through you.
outweigh. So I could drink, and all of my mates were the same. So we'd put fucking 7-8 cartons away over the course of the weekend, and no one got drunk the whole time.
It's not until 2 days later that really fucking hit you.
That habit, though, then when I completely fucking stopped the stuff, well, I'm still drinking like a fish. And then I'm blacking out and I'm fucking pissing in the corner
because
of the
you're
room.
getting smashed
because
now,
I'm actually getting but that habit of like how quickly I can delete a beer carried over into my non-fucking, so the long-standing effects of all of that, I'm still, in the last few years have had to be like, I got to fucking drink water when I'm having some beers and try and be conscious of how quickly I'm fucking necking it. And, it's just crazy how long that
Is it working?
It is. It is. I think it's just, again, now that I'm a dad and whatever else, but it's like, but I have that thing as well where I'm like, fuck, man, like, how much damage did I fucking do to myself in that time as well? And how much do I not want to continue doing that?
100%.
For the rest of my life.
Exactly right. And about going back is that, I get people on the page saying, oh, you're a great bloke. But it's those things in my head where I think, I'm a fucking shit bloke. For what I've done, but I probably lean towards more that, and I appreciate all the nice comments and I do think I'm a good fella and I do, but it's the shit I've done where I go, well, fuck, I'm not really a great bloke, I'm showing a bit now, but I haven't been a great bloke, and I think that weighs me down a bit too.
So from what you would consider to be your rock bottom, I want to touch on what made you finally go, you know what, I'm done skis. Like, I need to do this. Like, because let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about where you are now.
I got sick of it.
Yeah.
I actually got sick of the come down. And once I was down, like in the end, like, I met my current partner now, and she was in a pretty fucked up way as well when we met. So we weren't a real good fucking match at the time. And so we still dabbled through there, but even dabbling there when in our early years, it was only the first, 12 months or so that we dabbled with it. And again, it wasn't 7 days then. It was just, it never got back to that. It was just like once every 3 weeks or something. But once I was up, I was good. And then the come down was just like, fuck. And then once the come down was done, I was like, fuck, it's good, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, and then I just got sick of that. I just got sick of the come down. And it was just I don't know if we both agreed or I don't even know. And I don't even know I think what it might have been was that because when I got done for stealing all that shit from that place, I went and got a job in 3 months later at another place that I shouldn't have got a fucking job at because it was just too easy.
Yeah.
And so I just stole again straight away. As soon as I got there, I was fucking stealing. I was like, fucking hello. And then detectives walk in 3 months later, and here we go fucking again, same through the same bullshit. So from then I was like, I'm not going to work until A, my youngest daughter's at school, and B, I've got control of this fucking habit a bit. So I didn't wait. The youngest daughter went to school while I was with my current partner. She started school, and then I got a phone call fucking week after that or whatever, which was from her stepdad saying, do you want a job? He didn't know about that I wasn't going to work. It just happened.
Yeah.
And he was a stonemason in the Barossa Valley. And he goes, do you want a job? fucking start tomorrow. And I was fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
So I think that was a bit of a wake up call to be like, fuck, rightio, here's the chance. Like, fucking, and I stuck that out. I mean, I've worked every day since.
Yeah.
Since then, I've worked every day and dabbled with the drugs throughout that as well. But, you know, with a bit of coke here and there or whatever. But not recent times, just fucking just done with it.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just, and I think you just get too old for it.
Yeah.
And I do, and I'm fucking just over it. I am.
Yeah.
And the come down is when you want to fucking neck yourself. Like, you know, when and I beat myself up if I have a drug, and I fucking just beat myself up because it brings back fucking memories of being on, you know, I'm a fucking loser again, like rah. So it's just fucking done.
It's not worth it, is it?
It's just not worth it. It's not. And even to this, like now, I'm done drinking nearly.
Yeah.
I really am. Like, I mean, like I say, I'll drink 3 times a year and smash like a shitload while I'm doing it. But,
just fucking.
But it fucking does me no good for 3 days. I'm fucking cactus for 3 days. So it's really, I mean, I'm quite fucking proud. I went to a golf trip just recently, 2 weeks ago at Berry with 40 blokes who were staying up till 2 a.m, getting smashed every night. I had fucking 12 CCs throughout the day, you know, starting at midday till 10 at night, 10 o'clock at night.
Especially on the
sober
course, man,
as, sober as, went to bed, woke up fresh. They're all waking up like, go and play golf. And I thought, fuck, you know what? I think I've done it. Like, you know, I think I could, because I didn't think I could go, as you were saying, I don't think I could go with a group of people and have that social drink before. And I thought I had to be on their level.
Yeah.
And I think that to myself anyway. I can't be around drunk people. They just shit me. They just fucking shit me. Anyway, and again, someone on speed, anyone on a drug or drunk, unless I'm on their level, I can't tolerate them.
Yeah.
And the same with the drink. But this trip was like, I can actually tolerate it. I can actually have a good time.
Yeah.
And not fucking wipe myself out.
Yeah.
And wake up fucking.
Yeah,
that's been, I mean, so over the last few years, I've done, like this year, I've done 2 lots of nearly 30 days, but I've caved in right at the end. But the last few years, I've taken a month off of drinking, which I hadn't done ever.
Okay, yeah.
And that was one of the big realizations that, like, you know, I can actually go to these barbecues or whatever where everyone's fucking getting smashed and I'm okay.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
I had a massive one while I was right in the middle, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go buy a few non-alcoholic beers because I just wanted to fucking have something in my hand. That's going to matter.
Yeah, that's
and it fucking did.
Just
you
to
know,
look cool, eh?
That's it. And everyone's ripping into me, and I was like, but I was having fun. Like, you know, I wasn't. Whereas again, I just convinced myself in all these different chapters of my life, even, you know, because weed really got me away from the hard shit. That was the kind of thing that saved me. Weed did, because what I had a mate around the corner, and when I'd get to my house, and that was part of the problem, is that it was my housemates and everyone that were getting on it all the time.
Yeah.
I'd get home and I had that 50-50 of like, am I going to go and do this and have a fucking huge weekend? Or I'd message my mate and be like, hey, can I come around?
Have
and
a couple
I ended up
bongs,
staying there.
get a pizza.
That's the thing. Yeah. And that was back when I'd never really done it before either. So it was like the start of weed, which is like, munchies, laughing. And I'm like,
good time.
So then I rock up home on the Sunday and they're all fucking wiped out. And I'm feeling fresh as a daisy. And I was like, you know, why am I choosing this ever over that? But even that, you know, I'm done with, I haven't smoked weed now in what, a year and a half or something like that. Because it's just like, I got to a point where I'm just like, I'm done with this. Again, it became a problem because of my personality where I was smoking before I went to work. And, you know, so I'm not doing that.
So it becomes a
shit.
problem too, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just masking another problem.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was just, and so then I started to feel shit when I was doing it. And then I was still doing it because I was like, I convinced myself, and that was the point of what I was saying, is that in various chapters of my life, I've convinced myself that I'm, you know, these things are somehow enhancing my personality or whatever that it is in some stupid fucking cooked way in my brain. And so, you know, even with the weed and stuff, I was thinking, you know, I'm not having fun or I'm not the best version of myself and that funny guy that everyone loves unless I'm whacked out of my mind you know, who's going to want to fucking hang out with me if I'm not drunk on everyone else's level? And it's like that insecurity that's been my biggest problem and why I've gone down all these dark paths. Yeah. That I've realized is because I'm just always constantly thinking that
if you weren't hanging around those people, you wouldn't have been doing it, would you?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. And it's just, you know, again, that desire to belong to something or whatever, 100%. Which is what I've had my life as well. It's great though, and I guess I want to get into some positive stuff now in that you obviously talk us to about the start of truck driving. When does that come along into your life? And that's now been, you know, a massive chapter for the last, where you're up to right now. It
does. So, I mean, I did that stonemasonry job for a couple of years. I then went to engineering steel mob and did some fabricating, welding, like just again through cricket. So I went back and I started playing cricket. So when I got with my current partner, I was, I don't know, 27, 28, started playing cricket again. Drove past the Two Wells Oval, seen this big fella out having a swing. I was like, no, all right, let's get back into it.
Yeah.
And then started playing cricket again. Met fucking people, as you do. You're playing with 12 blokes, 11 blokes, 3 teams. There's 33 people.
Yeah.
You meet good people,
Yeah,
right? And, you know, and you get contacts. And so he gave me a job with him. He owns a fabrication shop. Absolute legend fellow. Really is a top bloke. And so we were then doing a job at a transport company, a new factory, putting in steel bollards and all this bloody, you know, metal bullshit, handrails and everything. And I just had this itch. I seen a couple of forklift drivers, and from being in the transport, I was a gun on a forklift.
Yeah,
like, you know, I just knew I was good on a forklift, and I was watching.
Fun as fuck, man.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and it's good watching someone good.
Yeah,
and I'm watching these dudes, and they're getting up to the truck and they're pedaling up and down. It's just like, fucking just get in there. And then I seen a dude walk past in a suit, and I was just like, fuck it. I said, are you a manager or something? He goes, I own this joint. And he's a top player. I still talk to him now. He's an absolute legend. And I said, you looking for any forklift driver? He goes, well, I'm always looking for a forklift. He goes, how good are you? I said, fucking better than any of them ones, I tell you now. Just being a bit of a big shot. And so then I got back into the transport like that. And so I had to go get my forklift license again, got back into transport. I worked there for 5 years.
Wow.
5, 6 years with them. Got my semi-license while working there using one of their trucks. And my partner then got her semi-license, and she's always wanted to drive the big rigs, always wanted to drive to Perth. That was a dream. That was what she wanted to do, and loved the trucks. She really loved them. She probably loved them a bit more than what I did. I didn't mind
loves the rigs.
Yeah, I didn't mind the forklift driving side of it. So then we just started doing two up to an opportunity come up where we're working now. And so we started doing two up with each other, obviously. One drives 5 hours, one sleeps 5 hours. And by this time, I'm done with all the addiction. So I just knew I was cherry ripe to go. Yeah. We're carrying produce and stuff anyway. So it was a total different side of transport.
Yeah.
And we just started nailing it from there. Just head down, bum up. We went up to Darwin and spent time up in the mines up there. Left the kids at home. Like the youngest was 13, the oldest was 17. We said, it's time sorry, but you're going to have to have a bit of responsibility. We need to go earn we had to catch up for the shit we fucked up. You know, we had some serious catching up to do to get to where we are now. Like we had to, catch up. So I said, sorry, but we're going to be 3 weeks home 1 week, 3 weeks home 1 week. And the kids were great. And they took the young one under their wing, and they was to school. Looking back, it probably wasn't the responsible thing to do. But I mean, again, we had to do something. We had to do it for us to achieve what we wanted to achieve.
Have a better life for them too, man.
And the rewards are now for them as well. So the youngest one, I say she's 13, she's 20. I don't know, kill me again, 23 or 24 or something now. So 25, I don't know. So we just got into it that way. Just again through community sport. That's where it all started. Yeah. So then you've obviously picked up a drone.
So I've been interested to actually ask you about the drone stuff, man.
Yeah. So it was actually my partner again.
Yeah.
She's like, and she loves the horses. Like she's, you get them crazy cat ladies.
Yeah. Horse lady.
She's a fucking.
So the Blaze connection, is that through truck driving or is that through horses? Because she's in everything now.
Yeah, wow.
Horses.
Okay, so it's through horses,
right?
My partner helped her with horses when she was like young, very young. So she's known Blaze and Kim for a long time. So they
there you go.
So that's where the connection is there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Blaze got into the truck side of it. I'm not sure. So there's always been the horse connection there. And we were watching TV or something one day. This is 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, a drone advert come on or something. It was when they first started like coming out sort of thing. She goes, and it was following someone riding a motorbike. She goes, fuck, I want that for my horses.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty cool.
I was like, really? Yeah. So I was like, okay. I just let it go. Just thinking it was an idea that would fade away. And again, ad come up and I was like, I need that. I was
And they're like, fuck these ads, man.
yeah, change the channel, Foxtel. And so I eventually got one.
They're not cheap 6 years ago either.
No.
They're
So
cheap
it was,
now, bro.
no, they're not cheap. No, they're getting worse now.
Yeah.
But so it was about $3,000 for this drone. I was like, all right. Well, I didn't think I was going to use it. I had fucking no intentions to use it. I'd follow you on the horse, no worries. So we got it, unpacked it. I got it, unpacked it, set it up in the house. I was like, fuck, this can't be this hard. I had a bit of a YouTube tutorial thing on it, blah, blah, blah. Didn't read the small print in the thing, right? Anyway, crank it up inside, lift up. You don't fly drones in houses, right? Okay, this is what the small print underneath is like. Anyway, it's just gone, just taken off, crashed into 3 walls. $1,000 to get a gyprock repairer out anyway.
Oh, did it damage the drone too?
No, it didn't. So
okay,
the blades are pretty vicious. I still got scars from
right.
a bit of drink driving, drink
Yeah.
flying,
Drink
trying
driving,
to grab it, and it flipped and just sliced me.
No.
But so it never followed a horse. It sat in the cupboard, and we were driving to Perth by this, and never even took a photo of my truck, even with the phone. Like never. But there's always, you see all these truck pages with photos of trucks, right? And I was just like, fuck it, let's just take it out. I got it on the one weekend, got it out just to get a hang of it out the front and flying it around over fucking people's houses and shit, which is people like. But so I took it out in the truck one time, took it up on the bike, took a photo of his truck. I was like, oh, fuck, that looks cool. And when I say that looks cool, I look back at that photo now. I've still got the photo. I think, that's fucking
like,
terrible.
But
wrong lighting, wrong everything. And so I posted it on this truck page that just accepts truck pictures, and it got like fucking 400 likes or something.
Yeah.
Because no one had seen pictures with drones of trucks.
Yeah.
So really, I don't know. I mean, someone might correct me, but I think I was the first to start taking photos of trucks. Definitely the first to start taking out the Nullarbor.
Yeah. See, that's interesting, man. Yeah.
So that was what really started. I was like, fuck, I'm going to start a Facebook page here. And I was like, what do I call it? Well, I just thought of all these things. And I don't know, the Drone Way just come in. I thought, that's just easy to remember. You get all these pages that are like, someone tells me a page, it's like, fuck, that's way too complicated.
Yeah.
I just want to bump into someone and say, follow the Drone Way. And it's just something easy. So
and it also kind of matches up with the ethos of like, on the road, go on your truck.
The Drone Way.
So, the Drone Way. Yeah.
It's my way, the Drone Way.
Yeah.
So that got me kickstarted about, I started a Facebook page. So I started the Drone Way. Had 150 followers, which were my mates on friends on Facebook anyway. And I was like, what the fuck's the point of this page? They're the only ones liking it, really. And I thought, I didn't know. I just thought, I'll just keep going with it a bit longer. And what kickstarted it was the Port Augusta tanks. Do you know of them, Port Augusta tanks?
No, I don't know. What are that? What do you...
So in between Port Augusta and Whyalla. So you come out of Port Augusta.
Yes.
The big tanks. They're massive, like water tanks.
Okay.
Yep.
And there was rumours that there was something in them that wasn't water. And I was like, well, I've got a drone now. I'll fucking just pop up and have a look. So I took the drone up, and each one of them, there's 5. And I'm talking one tank is 10 times this house.
Yeah.
So it's a fucking big
massive
tank.
tank. And there's 5 of them full of car tyres. Absolutely chock-a-block full of car tyres. So I've taken these photos, and they look like little licorice balls, like with the drone and everything else.
No shit.
Fucking wow. I posted that on the Drone Way. It just went overnight, 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
And people bagging it, like, what the fuck, environmental, like, rah.
Yep.
Then the person who owns the tyres rang me. He's
he
like,
rang you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, do you want me to take it down? He goes, no, actually, let's use this as a positive for what I actually do with these tyres. So he recycles them. So the end tank's empty with a recycle thing in it. So they put them through and granulate it for the kids' playgrounds.
Oh, okay.
All that sort of,
Interesting.
rubber fucking whatever, or rubber balls and all that sort of stuff. So that's what they do.
That's where all those, you see the fucking
yeah.
thing in
the stuff in the playgrounds. No shit. No shit.
So that's what they do with the old car tyres. And they got the stuff that takes the metal out, then they blah, blah, blah. So that kickstarted it, and then it just grew from there. It really did. And I've always, and then people were asking to buy prints and shit. And I was like, I'm being the missus earning great money. So I didn't really want to do it for the money. I wasn't interested in the money side of it at all.
Yeah.
And it was always just been a hobby, and it still is. I still look at it as a hobby, and I really do. But, and I've always been, even through my drug addiction, I would, if someone had nothing, I would give them my last fucking, and I wouldn't say last dollar because I'd go spend on drugs, but but I would help. I'd help what I can. You know, I always had that like something in me that was like. But when I was on the streets, a fella gave me, and I thought I looked all right, and I thought that I was hiding it well or whatever. But I would stand in this particular spot. Well, I was sleeping in Forest Chase, which is like a Rundle Mall that they were building in Perth. So it was a big construction site. So we were sleeping in there. There was a group of 4 of us sleeping in there, and I'd stand at the same spot as on the way to a train station, people on the way to a train station asking for $1. Can I have $1 for a train ride? Can I have $1 for a train ride? You get fucking $10 or whatever. There's your food. Like, you know, so there was always ways of like getting the money for that. Anyway, if one dude walked past and I either he's seen me there days on end or I've asked him for $1 fucking 5 times. Because one lady would be, I remember particularly one lady goes, you just asked me 10 minutes ago and I gave you $1 and you still want $1 for a train ride. So she gave me another $1. I was like, oh, fuck, thank you. Felt embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he came past and gave me $20 and a pizza. And I was just like, fuck. And I remember it clear as day. It didn't change my world but I was so grateful for it.
Yeah.
So when I started the Drone Way page, I was like, that's my thing. Like that $20 and pizza didn't change my world, but it made me think and it made me want to give back now.
Yeah.
So that's really inspired me to give back when I was in a chance to be able to give back financially.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll sell prints then. No worries. So I started selling prints, and then, you know, donating money to the homeless, go do a pizza day in town for the homeless. And it's just grown from there. And it's just excelled. Like, I mean, it's, you know, it's over 106,000. I think it just ticked over 106,000 followers the other day. So,
so people are getting around it, man. People are appreciating the fact that you're going through the extra effort as well.
And also, the photos are fucking amazing.
They are.
They are doing such an incredible job with, again, you know, as you said.
People aren't just jumping on to feel sorry for me. And that's what.
Yeah.
Because I'd shut the fucking page down.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even do it if it wasn't for the photos. The backstory's cool. Yeah, there's a backstory to it. And it wasn't until early on, I had about 40,000 followers and I was giving to people in need and wasn't filming. I never film shit like that. I never do. But I'll explain to people, okay, sold 10 prints last week, giving this money to...
Yeah.
And they've got to a point where I think I've got to explain my story to my followers so that they appreciate why I'm doing it. Sort of
and
thing.
so that they're also inclined to be like, yeah, I know the story, the purpose, the reason. So then they want to buy more prints. So, like, you know, it makes sense. If
it does.
The revolving door. And I remember you said on the Youngblood podcast that someone was like, oh, you know, be mindful of like, you know, what now that your page is growing and these followers. And you were like, get fucked. I'm going to be unapologetic. Like, I want it to be
me.
I don't want to just be like, oh no, now it's just about the prints or whatever. And it's not, no, because the reason these prints exist is because of my fucking story.
Yeah,
so I
that's
need
right.
them to all be a part of together.
100%.
And if that's a little bit confronting to Nana Ethel, well then sorry, Nana Ethel, you're gonna have to fucking
that's
do it.
The world is sorely lacking in authenticity.
Yeah.
So like, you know, doing what you want to do, the second that you stop doing that, it'll fall off because you're not doing what you want to do.
100%. And I've had professional people say, you got to change your hashtags. You got to make them more professional. It's not fucking me.
Yeah.
I hashtag stuff, stupid shit, like just stupid shit. Like, but to me, I have a laugh while I'm doing it. I don't pre-think it. I just go hashtag, and just think, oh, I'll just take the piss out of the hashtag.
You're
It's
running
me.
the page, and it's like that's what people are coming there for.
And that's what people are liking. Even I bump into people in Gawler, well, I follow your page. I love that you're just you, and that inspires me. Well, fuck, I'm going to stay me, because it's working. Like, you know, people are getting inspired by it. They like the story, and if it's inspiring a couple people to give back as well. And it does. I've had numerous fucking messages. You get bloody messages every day, but numerous messages about, oh, you know, I paid for, I was behind you when you paid someone's fucking shopping or whatever. I went and done that the next day. Like, you know, that's a win just there.
And it's just contagious, mate. Just, you know, just like you do one thing, he does the one thing, and then that might have inspired somebody else to go, you know what, I'll give this person $20.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
definitely. It's not about self-gain for money or anything. And it's not, you know what? I've crashed 3 drones. While I've been doing it, I'm taking a little bit out to fucking replace $4,000 drones.
Like, you need to do the content.
But financial gain, I'm not in it for that, and I'm not. And people say, well, you can give up work and do this full time. Fuck, I don't want it. I like it being happy.
Exactly.
I don't want it to be a chore.
The thing is as well is that like you said, which I think is probably a perfect way to kind of bring this all together is it's an everyday battle, right? So the the importance of that giving back and everything is that for when you have those hard days about look you fucking did, you got given these opportunities, look at that job that you got that you fucked around, you stole shit. You're like, well, I'm making amends for that stuff.
Yeah,
now.
fucking. And I'll jump on Facebook and surf or see something that touches my heart, and I don't know. I don't think it's selfish. I don't like to beat myself up about that. But if I'm having a shit day or whatever, I'll fucking donate to something because it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
it makes me feel good making someone else feel good.
Yeah.
And so that gets me out of my. I don't know if that's a selfish way. I don't think it is.
Because at the end of the day, the act of what you're doing, and I mean, if it's, you might think it's selfish in terms of like, because it's about how it makes me feel. But again, as long as the act is genuine, if you're doing something detrimental, then that's selfish because you're like, you're getting something out of.
But I generally get a kick out of someone being not appreciative, but just knowing it's fucking not changing the world, but it's just like made their day.
Yeah, 100%,
like, it just
man.
makes their day, and
that's.
As the more good days you have, the better life is, isn't it?
Exactly, bro.
And you build up this whole like army of work that you can rely on. So when your dark days come, you're like, well, look at what you're doing on a daily basis, on a weekly, on a monthly basis. That's what you're fighting for. That's what you're here for. That's what you're. So all of that is done, and it's something I talk about all the time. It's so easy to get trapped in the past and caught in that thought loop, but it's like, I can't change any of that now. All I can change is what I do in this next minute, in this next hour, in this next year. They're the only things I can control. And as long as I'm happy about what I'm doing for them, if I have this conscious thought now and then I go and do shit tomorrow, then fucking deal with that then. That's that's the person to have a problem with. But don't have a problem with the past me who had no fucking idea what he was doing or whatever, is a byproduct of his childhood and the fucking traumas and everything. That's what that person was going through. Now I know better, and now I'm not going to go and do that moving forward. And that's all you need, man. And it's,
that's right. And that inspires me to keep going too.
Yeah.
And it does. And that think process. And I do beat myself up about shit that I've done and not proud of it. And it's hard to come out sometimes. It's hard to get out of that rut.
Yeah.
But what keeps me, beside that as well, but what keeps me is knowing that tomorrow's different. Like you said, tomorrow you might be a shit, and you work on that then. But I just know that tomorrow's going to be a different day. The next week's going to be a different week. And that really inspires me to keep going. With the love for my grandkids and all that, all shit aside, when you're in that rut, nothing really matters. I mean, you got to, it's hard to, because you actually think sometimes that you're doing everyone a favor by checking out. But in reality, you're fucking not. No. Like, 100% not. You're going to be missed. The loved ones.
Passing the pain to somebody else.
Exactly right. That's what you're doing. So, I mean, and knowing that tomorrow I wake up and fucking going to be fresh and fucking and back in it. And you know what? I'm going to go out and get some photos. I'm going to fucking sell some photos. I'm going to donate. I'm going to message this person, donate them some money. And
make a change.
Well, it's a bit understanding because this is the thing is that like that feeling, the lowest low of like, I need to check out and I'm done here. It comes from a complete lack of like awareness of your place in the world and the importance of it and whatever. So it's like doing these things gives you that, right? Yeah. So it's like you need things to be able to like, tangible evidence of your role in this fucking shit cunt of a world that we live in, right? Yeah. So that's where people get lost when they have no attachment to anything concrete to go, well, hold on a second. Yeah. You do this thing, you do that thing. Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes even just the kids and whatever isn't enough. It's like, no, it's what am I
You got to have something, eh?
Yeah, man.
You got to have a passion.
Yep.
You got to have a love. And if even if you can't love yourself, you got to find something to love because then the love for yourself comes back, doesn't it?
Yep.
And that's what I found with the drone way. I mean, I've suffered mental health for fucking forever, but since I was 13, 14, I didn't think I was going to live long. Yeah. And that's carried through. And now I'm 49, I think, well, fucking hell, I've lived long. I'm living long.
And
like,
you've done
fuck.
good shit too, man.
Yeah, that's right. I'm doing good shit. So,
and you're looking good, mate, for someone who's had a pretty fucking storied past. You're doing all right.
That's the foundation.
He's gone to special effects makeup for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's wow. The drone on that drone way money.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
Well, this actually leads into the perfect wrap up, I'd say. Here we got this final segment that we do called the Questions, where we've got a bunch of predetermined questions we fire off, and not even necessarily about anything to do with what we've talked about today.
Okay.
But it's just every guest gets the same questions. It's a nice little way to wrap it, bring it full circle. have a bit of fucking positivity after an hour and a half of some pretty heavy shit. So
sweet.
if you want to hit him with question number one, my man.
Question number one, what's your favourite song of all time?
I like Born Free.
Yeah, okay, yep.
But again, and not being all fucking sad. Well, I don't know if it's meant to be a short answer, but it will be a short answer. But
they gave me 10 minute answers, mate.
But from 13, and I don't mean it's not poor me or whatever, but 13, 20, I didn't listen to music.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get into music. Even to this.
You didn't exactly have your fucking Discman even in that back then. Probably.
That's right, exactly right. So I didn't really get into music. And then the drug addiction didn't get into music. And I find that music really brings me fucking down. I've got to be in a good spirit to listen to music. I'm one of those types. So, but Born Free, Born Free, I like it.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Is it something where you've found that now it's more accessible to you? Like, now that things are going better, that you're starting to kind of grow like an attachment to or liking music more? Or it's just
not. I haven't got a particular band that I like.
Yeah.
I think some bands sing some good songs, like Poison. I like a couple of Poison songs.
Yeah.
A couple of Guns N' Roses. I like fucking James Blunt.
Yeah.
I like, I've got a variety of songs, but I've got to be in a. If I'm drinking, fuck yeah, crank that shit. Crank that shit. If I'm sitting around by myself, nah.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned, so when you're driving, is that audiobooks? Is that where you do a lot of?
Smash the audiobooks. Smash podcasts and audiobooks.
Yeah.
Awesome. And just mix them up. Podcasts are good. You get an hour, you get a short, quick hit.
Yeah.
Or you get a 20-hour book where you just fucking get into it like a movie.
See, because I'm a music fanatic, and yet still I love like driving
and just music.
Podcasts, all this. That's the thing. Like I've always been music. My dad was just there was never not music playing in my house growing up, so it's just like such a part of my personality.
Yeah.
But I still fucking love podcasts. And
cool.
I just love listening
There's something about a story, isn't there?
Yeah, I just love it because obviously
a real story. Yeah.
Well, me doing comedy as well, I just love hearing comedians talk, whether it's about comedy or just like their way of thinking about shit that I kind of resonate with because of my own brain and how it works in comedy. I just love listening to comedians fucking talk nothingness, and it's like sometimes afterwards I'm like, wow, that offered me no substance whatsoever. It is,
cool.
Yeah. It makes driving fucking go quickly.
It does. That's what I say to people too.
Head,
is you sit in the corner for 5 hours, that time's going to drag.
Yeah.
You sit in the corner listening to something, you just go so
that
quick.
must help you drive so much. Because again, you'd feel like you're just, because that's when a podcast is done well, you feel like you're in the room with them.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting the feeling of driving across the fucking Nullarbor, which doesn't exactly have too many things to look at, and you're able to get yourself feeling like you're sitting in the room, but just not talking back to them.
Definitely. I mean, I've driven past, say, Nullarbor Roadhouse, listening to a book, a great book. I like, I can't remember his name. Anyway, we'll get into it. But, still trying to think. No, but I drove past the Nullarbor Roadhouse and then the next town roadhouse is 180 Ks, right?
Yeah.
And I know I'm coming up to the Nullarbor Roadhouse. I'm right into this book, like fucking focus. It's 2 a.m, fucking just right into this book, like. And next minute I see this next roadhouse is 160 Ks. I've just done 40, 50 Ks, gone past the roadhouse without even knowing, just in depth of this book. And that's what it can do. You focus on the road, don't get me wrong.
You're
still
but that's an autonomous thing at this stage,
Yeah, that's right. Whereas the whole like stopping for anything that's on the left or right of you, Well, I'm going to change question number 2 here, right? I'm going to change it.
Mate. There's no water.
No, I'm going to ask a different question. That's never been asked before.
But let's just not.
But I think is more suitable to like.
Okay. All right.
What's your favourite book of all time?
I wish the wife was here. I can't remember it. What's it called? Oh, I have to look on my phone.
Go
no, you know what? No, all bullshit. So my favourite is Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like
is that his own that he wrote?
Yep. Yeah, how to spend 300 million in 3 years or so.
I want to read because I just watched the series that they did where they did, and it was fucking. He said it was but I was enthralled by what I found out after the fact was a bullshit series of events.
No, but this is the untold story or something, whatever it's called.
And there's an audio book of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely love that.
Love that, and the king. Was it the king of? What was his name? Abraham and King Street.
Okay, yeah.
Prince of King Street in Sydney. What's it? King Street? What's it
King's
called?
Cross?
King's Cross, yeah.
The King of King's Cross or something it's called.
Yeah, right.
That's really, really
all about the underbelly like type shit.
Yeah, absolutely. How he owned the nightclubs and all the scene and and So I like the true story books.
Yeah.
But my favourite, can't remember. That's so bad. Power One. The Power One about a boxer. It's not real. It's not a real story or anything. I don't know the author. I do know the author. I just on the spot. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But the Power One is
Yeah.
brilliant book, and
you
his books go for wife's gonna kill me. I can't remember his name, but his books go for like 30 hours.
Yeah. Okay,
Wow.
yeah.
So
big
they
books.
drag on, but they just keep again. You're driving to Perth, so I've got
Yeah,
plenty of
exactly.
time.
Yeah. So you're just not like you got like shit to do.
But Mike
you know, like-
Tyson, absolute.
Yeah, I would very
Love
much
it.
You
like
love
to.
it. You love it. If you like Mike
Yeah.
Tyson, even if you don't like him,
No,
it
it's just
changes your whole.
a crazy, like, he's just one of those people that's
Characters,
just
bro.
like,
And he was so giving.
yeah.
Like he was so like homeless, but he was giving like fucking gold rings and shit. Like
Yeah.
you know, just
He always used to go buy out all the fucking toy stores
Yeah,
and shit
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, like and again, it's just one of those things where, you know, people, again, he had a fucked upbringing.
Yeah.
And then people get their fucking hooks into
Yeah,
you once
yeah.
they realize that there's a fucking talent
of
there,
money
and you
there.
don't know any better because
Yeah.
you're just this fucking, you know, delinquent who's
Absolutely.
can punch
Who loves
people's
to box,
fucking lights
yeah.
out.
yeah.
And it's just, again, it really is a story of how fucked the world is.
Yeah,
in terms
100%,
of
yeah.
everyone's just looking for ways to be able to use you.
Yeah, exactly.
To line
To
their
benefit
pockets.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
sad. It's
Should I
fucking
hit him with
sad.
question number 3?
Yeah, go for it.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice I've been given. Fucking hell. Probably just be you. Like,
Yeah.
I think I got told that by a police officer.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, who was he would take me back. He said, "Be you, but just change a few things." Of what he was a cricket coach as well,
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
so he's seen that I had a bit of potential. And he said, "Be you, but you need to change a few things that you're doing, but just keep being you, and stick to bloody playing cricket and get out of this shit." Unfortunately, he was the one that was blown up here in Adelaide.
Oh, really?
Do you know? Remember the one in the
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happened?
Jeff Bowen is his name.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
in the police building here.
Yeah.
and undid a package and got blown up. This has been in
true.
1995, 96,
Yeah.
Wow.
something like that. I was in Adelaide watching. I was like, and his photo came. I was like, get up,
No
and it was
shit.
him. So yeah, just be you,
Yeah.
I think it's
like
probably-
that.
because otherwise there wasn't too much
Advice. Yeah.
There really
Yeah.
Well,
wasn't.
like you said, you know, what we were just saying about how, again, you know, the people that have been like, oh, with your content or whatever, and you're like, no, I'm just going to fucking be me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
either people are going to want to come along for that journey,
Yeah, that's right.
but I'm going to enjoy it because I'm getting to be authentic.
Exactly
and
right. If
whatever
I lose
else.
10 followers on the way, I'm going to gain 100.
Exactly.
Like from
Because
being
people,
me.
as I said, the world is lacking. What I guess what we try to shine through on this podcast as much as possible is just authenticity and
Yeah.
try to be us, you know, as much as we possibly can, because either people are going to like that or they're fucking not.
That's
But if
right.
I'm
Yeah.
here being a fucking radio host trying to be, you know,
You're being something you're not.
yeah,
bro.
like, you know, trying to get
Robotic
people
bullshit,
shit on
eh?
something that's fucking
And
not
people see
real.
straight through that
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
And I wouldn't have 106,000 followers if I was like that.
No,
Yeah.
that's
I
right.
just,
Exactly.
I just
Well, I mean, the
wouldn't.
thing is, this is the thing that stands out for me is that there's plenty of other photo pages that are going
Yeah,
around that
fucking
take
others.
great photos, but
Yeah.
you stand out because of that authenticity, because of the reason that you do it, and that it is obviously. I mean, you found a niche, as you said. Not
Yeah.
every truck driver is out there fucking
No.
with
Yeah.
a $4,000 drone, and also able to. And you said on the Youngblood podcast as well about how, like, you know, you turned your negative obsessive personality and addictive personality, and you went and self-taught through YouTube
Yeah.
videos how to edit, how to, you know, do
Hours,
all of the stuff, how to
hours.
get the right photos, the lighting and everything. So, you know, you took something that was a negative in a large part of your life and went, fuck it, I'm
And
just
that
going
gets
to go.
back to someone, you got to have something that you love
Yeah.
and passionate about in your life. And I think it's so important for everyone to have something like that.
Yeah.
And that come into a stage of my life where I needed it. So all my focus went on it. And I just fucking channeled in, and it was on YouTube, Google. Like, I just wanted to improve
Yeah.
and improve myself while I was taking better photos. Like I said, I
Yeah.
look back to that first photo I taken, I was like, there's no fucking way I'd post that now. Like,
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But so yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%.
That's
Love it.
awesome, man. Well, question number 4, which I think is a perfect thing. What is something that you're grateful for today?
Oh, what I'm grateful for. The love from my kids and love from my partner, and my partner sticking out with me through good and bad, and just the people that I'm surrounded by. It's only I'm only in a real small, I struggle, still with mental health, and I just isolate myself from everyone. but I can talk to my partner. I can talk to my daughters if, you know, they know when they ring me and ask if okay. I'm just grateful for the little thing. You know, grateful for the little things in life rather than the big shit now. It's just, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive.
Awesome, man. I like that.
Yeah, we
Amazing
absolutely,
answer.
you know, there's plenty of times, as you said, that you may not have been. So
definitely.
I'm glad that you are here, mate, and that you're doing such amazing work and that you found some real good happiness in your life, man.
No.
You absolutely deserve it with everything that you've been through. And I appreciate, again, you know, people don't, it's not easy coming and having the kind of conversation that you've just had.
It's not.
It takes
And
energy, bro.
it takes, it's energy. You have to relive the stuff.
Anxiety all
and-
day.
Yeah.
I won't even lie. Like, it's just like, and it's not, you know, you're just coming to be you.
Yeah.
You know that, but you just, it's still there. It's still like, fucking hell.
So I just really wanted to, I guess, thank you, you know, specifically for that, because I know it's not easy, and but it is important. And
Yeah, it is
I know
important.
that there'll be someone listening to this that's going to take something from many of the things that you've said, at least one, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what's
And that
so
makes
important.
worth sitting around an hour and a half, three good fellas having a chat worth it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because that's the thing, is that this just hasn't happened for generations.
Yeah.
You know, three blokes being this raw and honest about their own experiences or whatever just didn't exist. And, you know, you would have been labelled a fucking pussy or a whatever for being like, you know, I struggle with mental. The fact that we can say, you can say that as many times as you have so easily is a sign of, you know, how much
things
growth
have
or whatever
changed,
you've had. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, my dad would have never fucking said that.
No,
His dad
exactly,
would have never said
exactly.
that, you know?
And
So-
I don't care now. I don't care what people think. You know, if they want to call you pussy, whatever, they're the ones that are going to get called out these days.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Well, they're the ones that are struggling
Yeah,
so
they're-
fucking.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know,
They've got their own
and they're-
fucking demons.
Again, they're on the fucking cans every single day because the idea of ever admitting, hey, I'm not coping is fucking so foreign to them.
Absolutely.
So
Hiding behind a fake name on fucking TikTokers with, you know,
that's right. You know, so I really appreciate you taking the time out on multiple occasions to tell everyone your story, and it's a compelling story, and it's so important because, you know, there's plenty of people, as I said, that have endured some part of what you've gone
definitely.
through.
Yeah.
Whether it's the family complete in fucking turmoil, whether it's the homelessness, whether it's the addiction. I mean, fuck. You've got the bloody Yahtzee of childhood traumas. Man.
The Yahtzee.
So I appreciate it. But on that note, there is one final question.
more question.
And this is the all-important. This is what everyone comes here for. Hit him with it, my man.
All right. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? And why?
Oh, fucking hell. I wasn't expecting. I've heard you say this one before. I have. One duck-sized horse or 100 horse-sized ducks.
No, one horse-sized duck, so one big duck.
One big duck
or
and 100
little horses. Now,
horses.
you've got, so this is someone who's got some horse expertise here.
I reckon
as well.
I'd go the little horses. I reckon I could tame those little fuckers.
Oh, he's going to tame him. He's
The horse whisperer.
The horse whisperer,
No,
mate.
he's just gonna like farm it out to the missus. Like,
That's right.
Hey, I'm heading off, but there's 100 horses out here that you've got to do.
They're only small.
and they're pretty mad.
Imagine the drone shot going around 100 horses like stampeding through a nullarbor.
Yeah.
Like, they're only like this big.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
That's cool.
be
Yeah, no, I'd go the little horses. They're
Little
probably
horses.
a bit more safer than a
I've
duck.
got one extra question for you before we wrap it up.
Sweet.
Favorite photo or like place or whatever that you've ever taken, something that just sticks out as like this was just absolutely fucking amazing.
We were driving, left the border village. It was partner's turn to take over driving. I seen the clouds in the sky, and I was at the stage of, this was a couple of years ago, but by far the best photo I think I've taken. And I it's starting to get to this point of like I could see when it's going to be a good sunset or whatever with the cloud formations and all that sort of stuff. And it was only like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. I was going to bed, and you got to sleep. You got to go to bed. I can't stay up for the fucking sunset. And I said to myself, it's starting to pinken up a bit and the clouds are going a bit red. Fucking wake me up. She's like, Ben, pull over. Right, this is like 7 o'clock or something. I've just stuck the head out the curtain. I was like, fuck. Got out there. So I was on the Nullarbor airstrip. It's an airstrip where they use to Royal Flying Doctors come in.
Okay.
It's right next to the Bunda Cliffs. Blowing a gale. It was blowing a gale, so no good for the drone. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do here? And I walked over with the drone, put it on the ground in the middle of the road with the white line, the reflection of the sun in the trailers and everything, just magnificent. So it's not even, my favourite photo isn't even a fucking a drone shot in the sky.
Wow.
But it's the most popular picture I put on the drone way.
Yeah.
I've posted it every year, because you want to thrash it.
Yeah, of course.
But I get people that said that they've driven for a living around Australia for 2 years, taking photos of trucks, and never ever got close to something like it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's that's my favourite.
Send it to us and we'll put
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's in the episode right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I will.
Now, obviously, you were meant to bring us a couple of your calendars tonight,
Yes,
but you're going to
yep.
drop them off to me, and I'll
Yep.
fix you up for them in a minute. But plug your stuff. What have you got
Yeah.
going on? What can people?
So you got t-shirts, hoodies, stubby holders, prints. Do our own framing. I've got a fella, my best mate, who we went out and bought all the framing machinery and all that sort of. So we do all our framings and calendars. That and I haven't got a percentage of what I give. So the bank gets up to $5,000. I'll just unleash on a few charities here, there, and just, you know what, just people I've read on, I don't even know. And I'm not being in part of the top, but this is where your money goes, people. It's like, I'm watching TikTok live the other day, and there's a chick there. She's done it hard. You just know when someone's done it hard, right?
Yeah.
You can just look. She's done it hard. She's drug-free, or she's saying she's drug-free. She looked drug-free to me.
Yeah.
She looked genuine. She's got a single mum, daughter, rah. No air conditioning in the car. And I wasn't even involved in the live. I was just watching because I got intrigued in the story that she was talking to someone else about. And she's like, the air conditioning in my car's fucking shit itself. Luckily the weather's cold, me and the daughter, we've got to get to place, And I was like, that's fucking bullshit. Like air conditioning, just basic fucking thing like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's $800 to get fixed. I just got to wait. It's all good. I'll get it done, right? She wasn't asking for money. She didn't even know I was there. She didn't even know who I was, whatever.
Yeah.
So I jumped in on the live and said, flick me a message, we'll get this sorted, sort of thing. And so just random shit like that. So I haven't got like 50% of sales goes there or 50%. I'm not that organised.
Yeah.
No, that's
I'm
right,
really
yeah.
not.
So
Yeah, but it
regimented,
frees you up to again be able to do things, because if you just like dedicated it to something in one stream, it doesn't allow you to do those things where it's like
spontaneous.
I'm able
It's
to
spreading the
decide
love,
to just do this. So
Yeah.
So is it the website? What's the website? What's the web link?
Yep, www.thedroneway.com.au.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
beautiful.
cool. So that's the same handle for all your social medias. Perfect.
The Drone Way.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, again, man, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
love talking to a couple of good blokes. So it's it wasn't awkward. You're brilliant. And I've watched
Love
this
it,
before,
man.
so I knew what I was in for. I knew you're a legend. So
thank you, man. Well, we
likewise,
try to
man.
make it as, again, even,
Yeah.
especially when you're having these hard conversations, you still want to try and make it as accessible as possible. And, again, I gave you a bit of my own story that I haven't even really talked about on the pod before.
which
just
is
to
another
try and-
win, isn't it? Like,
Exactly.
it's getting it out.
That's something that you've also talked about too.
Yeah, because I always wanted to, and again,
Yeah.
it was only pushback. From the missus, and again, it wasn't something that I really wanted to go into with the parents. But like, I just think it's super important, and for people to hear that, even my own journey, and go, "Fuck!" Like, I wouldn't have thought that's
and that's what you get a lot of is like, "Fuck, I wouldn't have thought that you were there." Like, they wouldn't think that.
And I do I tell a lot of people in my life that I'm close to, that didn't know me at that time, because it is a part of my history, and it's and I think about why I got to that point and all of those things, because I just want to help people, and so I can't sit here and go, I don't understand what it's like to have addictions or to have these mental battles and to be doing these things for the most fucked up reasons, or trying to tell people, oh, this is why I think you're doing that, and they go, well, you have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
That's
But I actually do. I've been around it, and I'm lucky to have only lost that little chunk of my time and being able to see what was happening around me and get myself the fuck out of it, so that I kept my brain and everything else intact.
And someone's going to listen more if it's coming from someone that's been there and done that.
Yeah.
And they're going to appreciate it more and respect it more.
Yeah.
And that's what I find as well, is that people are actually going to respect it because I'm talking from the heart, as you did today.
Yeah.
You talk from the heart and talk from where you've been and what you've done. People appreciate that shit. They really do.
Man. 100%.
Absolutely.
Well, Ben, thank you so much, mate. Thanks for coming
Absolute
on.
pleasure.
Been
Chatting.
an absolute pleasure.
And we'll let you go.
Take
Job
care.
done.
Thank you very much.
Peace
Brilliant.
out.